Lovely. Good. Right, well, I'm Jimmy Carr. These are my jokes. Let's not fuck about. Before we get started, who's seen me before? Who's never seen me before? You sound happier. I'm not entirely sure this is working. According to Ofcom, the people that make the guidelines for television, according to Ofcom, the most offensive words on TV are the F word and the C word. But I'm live on stage this evening, so I can say whatever the fuck I like. And those cunts can't do anything about it. I had trouble getting out tonight. Had to organise a babysitter. I don't have children. Just found they're a lot cheaper than escorts. She's 17, there's nothing she won't do for £50. Sort of half a joke, that, isn't it? Because it's quite funny, but also true. When I'm away from home, I sometimes get lovesick. Well, they call it chlamydia. I spend a lot of my time away from home, because this is my job. I travel around the country telling jokes to people. I love it. But I spend a lot of my time away staying in hotels, because I have to travel. I was in a hotel a couple of weeks ago, walked into the hotel room. As I walked in there, just on the TV it said, "The adult channel is disabled." I thought, that's a bit specialist. I'm joking. I was gutted. No spaz porn. I'm sure you've all seen this, Birmingham. On trains, they've got seats reserved for elderly, disabled and pregnant people. Begs the question, who's fucking all these old cripples? Do you ever hear anything so dumb it's almost brilliant? So stupid it takes you a moment to work out what just happened. I'll give you an example. I was on a bus. I heard this girl get on the bus, walk up to the driver and go, "Can I get a return?" And the driver went, "Where to?" And she went, "Back here." It took me like an extra beat to, oh, what's going on? Oh, she's a fucking idiot. Case closed. People worry about their physical appearance. We've all got silly hang-ups. Personally, I worry that one of my balls is bigger than the other two. I shave my testicles. I call them Brazil nuts. Makes me giggle. Because it tickles when I do it. The first few weeks of joining Weight Watchers, you're just finding your feet. Well done. All together or not at all on the laughter, I think. Feed line, punchline, laugh. Don't fuck about. You're getting it late nonsense. Are there any ginger people in tonight? We got any ginger people? We seem to have contained the problem there. Good. Ginger people get given a hard time. People say very unkind things about gingers, but I think you should be destroyed humanely. I can talk. Check out the look I'm rocking. I look like a Lego Hitler. Das ist da. When I broke up with my last girlfriend, I said, I blame myself. I should never have let yourself go. But you have, so you have to fuck off. Do you read the Sunday papers, Birmingham? Do you all read the Sunday papers? I like the papers on a Sunday morning. I think it's a nice time to reflect on the last week and also to look ahead for the next week. We read the Sunday papers like the News of the World, in bed, Sunday morning, a couple of weeks ago, tea, toast, Sunday papers. What could be nicer? What could be more British? Anyway, my girlfriend turns to me. There's some sex scandal in the News of the World, as there invariably is. And my girlfriend turned to me and went, "I hope I never find out you're having an affair." I said, "Me too." You could be the moral arbiter on this one, Birmingham, right? You be the moral arbiter on this one this evening. I've got a friend, he got dumped by his girlfriend. She ended their relationship just because he said something. They were making love, they were mid-coitus, fucking. As he orgasmed, as he arrived, ejaculated, came, the most intimate, but also the most vulnerable time for a man, as that occurred, he said, "Bang, and the dirty's gone." I can see two distinct groups of men. There's some men looking at me as if to say, I don't think that's that bad. I think maybe she's overreacted a little bit. And then I can see other men looking at me as if to say, note to self. You've got to be very careful with jokes in the bedroom, because it's quite funny to say to a girl who's sucking you off, it's rude to talk with your mouth full. But it's even funnier if she says, well, it's not full. Having sex with someone at work is all right, as long as you don't work in a primary school. I've got a friend who's a part-time teacher. Well, they're all part-time. Are there teachers in? Come on, it's your own time you're wasting. Where are the teachers? Give us a shout, the teachers. And what was it that first attracted you to children? Not all teachers, obviously, that would be mental, but PE teachers, they're wrong-uns. You know what PE is short for? Pedo. It's a fact. You can look that up. You know why so many American kids die in high school massacres? It's because they're not allowed to run in the corridors. Take your time with that, that's wrong on a number of levels. I don't know if you've noticed this, Birmingham. It's very difficult to get the first kiss right. You want to be firm, but gentle. You want to be manly, but you don't want to wake her up. First dates are very delicate. Is anyone on a first date this evening? Is anyone on a first date? No? On your own? Seems a little bit suspect, doesn't it? We're going somewhere very special. Sorry, I realise women don't masturbate. You just expect us to believe you really enjoy baths. Well, good luck if you're on a first date. You see, first dates are very delicate, because if you call her the next day, she'll think you're too keen, she'll be put off. If you never phone, she'll think the worst of you. So what I do as a compromise is I phone her the next day and call her a slag. Sometimes you can sense a friend wants to take things further. Will it ruin the friendship? Things get hot and heavy on the sofa one night, you think, this doesn't feel right. You're my best friend. You're not even allowed on the couch. Bad dog, down boy. Did I say down boy? I've made it gay. I fucked a girl with one leg. Should have used my cock. Now, I realise this joke does not require a mime. It's a Saturday night in Birmingham, come on. I said to my girlfriend, I said, do you want to experiment with a role-play rape fantasy? She said, no. I said, that's the spirit. Rape is such a horrible word, though. It's such a harsh, brutal, awful word. Rape. That's why I prefer to call it a struggle snuggle. You couldn't stay mad at a struggle snugglist, could you? Bloody adorable. Now, I've been a comedian now for about 10 years. I've been doing this job for about 10 years, and I thought this year I would try and get a bit better. Not a crazy idea, right? One of the things I was quite weak on was regional accents. Is anyone here good at regional accents? No, you could barely say the word yes there, so you're not even good at talking, never mind accents. But I was no good at doing regional accents, and it's one of those things that as a comedian, it's quite good if you could be good at regional accents, because it's good for telling jokes. But I thought, well, I'll go away, I'll do some research. This evening I would like to give you a masterclass in regional accents, because I've discovered the secret, and the secret is this. All you need is a key phrase to get you started in the regional dialect, and then you're golden. Once you get started, once you get it in your head, you're fine. But getting started can be tricky. So I'll kick off with, I'll tell you what, I'll kick off with Scouse. Any Scousers in? We've got a Scouser over there? Where's the Scouser? Give us a shout. Don't worry, we're not going to take your benefits away. This is the phrase I use to do the Scouse accent. This is the phrase I have in my head to get me started in the Scouse. I want some chicken and a can of Coke. I want some chicken and a can of Coke. I want some chicken and a can of Coke. A can of Coke. I want some chicken and a can of Coke. The little head bobble just comes if you say it a few times. I want some chicken and a can of Coke. Well, let's make the Scousers feel at home. Let's everyone, on 3, I want some chicken and a can of Coke. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Fantastic, Birmingham. Bloody well done. I know. Now, obviously, that's just to get you started. Once you get started, then you can say something properly, authentically Scouse. I want some chicken and a can of Coke. I'm going on the rob. I've got to get a prezi. It's me gran's birthday. She's 30. Anyone in from Belfast? Anyone from Belfast? You're Belfast? Where's Belfast? Hey, Belfast. This is the phrase I use to get the Belfast accent right. Ginger and community. The terrifying stare is optional, but I find it helps. Ginger and community. Community has more syllables than you thought it had. Okay, let's try everyone. Let's go Belfast. Ginger and community. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. You're now all qualified to say, there's a bomb in the car. Roller coaster, pooper scooper, oompa loompa, Kawasaki, 4 unrelated words, meaningless in all respects, other than if you're trying to do the Geordie accent. In which case, they're a fucking gift. Roller coaster, pooper scooper, oompa loompa, Kawasaki. This makes me happy. All together. Roller coaster. Pooper scooper. Oompa loompa. Kawasaki. Perfect. Are there any Geordies in? No, presumably they're outside with their shirts off fighting. But I wonder what the fellas are up to. Welsh, have we got any Welsh people in? My God, we've got an army. Hello, the Welsh. Now, I've discovered the secret to the Welsh accent isn't so much a phrase, it's more a state of mind. To do a good Welsh accent, you've just got to sound confused. Whose coat is that jacket? Whose shoes are those trainers? Let's all try. Whose coat is that jacket? Whose shoes are those trainers? Perfect. See those 2 houses? The one in the middle is mine. That paper you're sitting on, are you reading that? I came out of the shop and there was my bike. Gone. Anyone from Manchester? No one from Manchester. The accent's pretty easy for Manchester. You just need 3 words. Started. All right. Not bad. Actually, one of my best friends is from Manchester. He's called Ali. He was named after where he was conceived. Any Scottish people? We got Scottish? Hello. You're living the stereotype, aren't you, love? Obviously, the Scottish accent, probably the best phrase to use is, "There's been a murder!" Chances are there probably fucking has been. Of course, living in Scotland, the main benefits are unemployment and housing. See, the Scousers' ears have perked up. Like a chavvy meerkat. What? There is a bit of a drink problem in Scotland, I hope you don't mind me saying. Yeah, up there they think I'm a double act. And the drugs, you wouldn't believe the fucking drugs. Whereabouts in Scotland are you from? Fort William, I don't know where the fuck that is. What, sorry? You've got sort of where an accent meets a speech impediment, I think. The Loch Ness Monster. Are you introducing yourself? Sorry. Didn't mean it, sorry. But the drugs in Scotland. Up in Scotland, they call it methadone. It's called I can't believe it's not heroin. I think the easiest accent in the UK is the West Country, because the West Country is just a pirate voice, isn't it? Who can't do a fucking pirate voice? Arr! I'm going on a date with my sister. Hope my mammy doesn't find out. I'm cheating on her. Are there people in from the West Country? Hey there. All right. Hi, hello. Not being patronising, I just thought it'd be a little treat for you to see a hand with 5 fingers. Now, what would be the phrase? If I was going to try and do the Birmingham accent, what would be the phrase for Birmingham? What would be the thing if I was going to... All right. All right. All right. The other phrase that seems to come up a lot in Birmingham is, it's fucking shit here. All right, it's fucking shit here. Any other phrases for Birmingham? What other? What was that? That was just all vowels. What was it? A yow, all right. A yow, all right. Have you had a stroke? I say that, I shouldn't really joke about strokes. If I ever have a stroke, I'll be laughing out the other side of my face. Are there any other words, any other key phrases for Birmingham? What, sorry? Cup of tea. How am ya? How am ya? How am ya? Poorly educated? Have we got any other exotic accents in the room? Is anyone from overseas or anywhere exciting? Anyone from the UK that we've missed? Any other places in the UK?
Jersey!
Jersey? You haven't got an accent, you tax-dodging scum. Who knew there was that much anti-Jersey feeling? It was simmering under. Finally, someone said it. You're basically French now, fuck off. Has anyone else got a different accent that we haven't covered?
Essex!
Essex? You mugging me off, you fucking slag. You fucking toilet. Come on. Fucking slag. I don't know how they make Essex men. Presumably, a man fucks a chicken. Oi! There's a lot of that going on. Any others?
Aussie!
What, sorry?
Aussie!
Aussie? I can do Aussie. I can do... Yorkshire? It's £25 a ticket. I thought we priced you out. Yorkshire? Yorkshire, say what I like, and I like what I bloody well say. Whippet, Tetley, frugal, cricket. My favourite Yorkshire phrase is tin, 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 which means it isn't in the tin. Tin, tin, tin. Oh, tin, tin, tin. Who do we have? Where's Australian? Give us a shout, Australian man.
Hey!
Are you still fucking there? Where are you? I can do Australian. I can do. Is it the Prime Minister or the President? I can never remember, but I can do Alf from Home and Away. Whichever one he is. You're acting like a bloody hoon, mate. A larrigan, a prize galah. Whatever the fuck a galah is. Whereabouts in Australia are you from?
Melbourne!
Melbourne. So you weren't affected by the flooding, were you? Is that why you've sat so high up? I'm not taking any fucking chances, but... I mean, because people lost everything in the flooding because they'd forgotten to tie their kangaroos down. Serious. People drowned, and you wouldn't have expected that because they're all wearing hats with corks on. Any others? What was that one?
Chinese.
You're Chinese. You don't really sound Chinese, sir. I'll be honest with you. And I think if I did a Chinese accent now, it would smack of racy lacism. Oh, that took you a long time, didn't it? Hang on. Oh, no, got it. Any others? Jamaican? Jamaican? You know my name is... You aware of this? Oh, well, this will be a treat for you. I would like everyone in the room now to say my name in a Jamaican accent. 1, 2, 3. I am Jamaica. He just went, yay. Bomber clock. Clearly got some bomber clots in. They've gone, oh, hang on a bloody minute. Any others? Dublin? Where's the Dublin? Hello, are you from Dublin? I saw the documentary about your weddings. I thought it was terrific. That's my favourite. You know I'm a plastic paddy, what they call a plastic paddy. I've got Irish parents, Irish passport, born in Ireland, but I speak and present myself in this way because I was raised and educated in the home counties, which goes to show what you can do when you apply yourselves. What's my favourite? Do you want to hear my favourite Irish joke? Maybe only Irish people get this joke. I'll tell you and see. What's the difference between a riot and a gypsy wedding? You can't buy a gate at a riot. Maybe that's just an Irish thing. I don't know. Well, look, we'll move on. Every year in my show, I write some jokes that require a visual element to be fully enjoyed, and this year is no exception. So what I thought I'd do now is show you some of the pictures I've done to illustrate the next jokes. Do you want to see them? Yeah. Excellent news, because that is what happens next. I've had some ideas. I'll kick off with some ideas. I've had an idea for a rape alarm that when you press it, it plays the Benny Hill theme music. You know, to make it more of a caper. Some advice for you. The best way to test the temperature of a bath is with a baby's elbow. I've had an idea of how to prop up our currency, the pound, against the euro and the dollar. What we do is we print new pounds, and this time the Queen is smiling. And if things get really bad, tits out, Your Majesty. Little joke for you. What do you get if you cross the Queen and Prince Philip? Killed in a tunnel. Too soon? It's been 14 years. Get over it. All right, point taken. I'll drop that from the raw variety. I say that, Prince Philip would probably piss himself. Although he's 82, he'd probably piss himself anyway. Some thoughts for you. When you think about it, a rhino is just a unicorn that didn't moisturize. Gillette. Gillette claims to be the best a man can get. What about a blowjob from twins? Whatever happened to Jedward? The speed men shave in adverts. If I shaved at that kind of speed, my balls would be in shreds. When I was told I was bipolar, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. A friend of mine's got OCD. For those of you that don't know, OCD is an abbreviation. It's just a shorter, quicker way of saying, I'd be a really annoying girlfriend. True story. If all the veins in your body were laid out in a straight line, you would die. Let's talk about some social issues. My neighbour is noisy and nosy. He's always banging on the walls, shouting, "Is anyone there? I've fallen. Is anyone there?" It's none of your business if anyone's here. Still, he's gone quiet now. Childhood is now effectively over by 11, which is when the pubs close and Uncle Terry gets home. Oh, Uncle Terry. I was traumatized as a child. Our priest was cheating on me. I just want to reach out to people that attempt suicide and say, come on, have another go. Keys to the city, that's a weird thing, isn't it, the keys to the city? Of course, they don't have that in Liverpool, do they? You just get given a coat hanger. As a fashion statement, Socks with Sandals says, I'm either a German, a paedophile, or a cunt. Quite possibly, all three. Apologies to any paedophiles or cunts we have in. There's not going to be any Germans at a comedy gig. Health. Let's talk about health. That's important, isn't it? I heard that because of women putting on so much weight during pregnancy, it's a good idea to take off your wedding ring. So I did. Posh Spice, Victoria Beckham. She's so thin, she's got to be careful when she has a bath, because if the water's too hot, she could turn into stock. Obese children put a lot of strain on the NHS, not to mention seesaws and swings. You know, if things carry on as they are, it's predicted that in 40 years' time, the average toddler will be 43. I tell you what, let's talk about religion. That couldn't possibly upset anyone. If Jesus is the way, and to be a Christian is to be in Christ, then aren't all Christians just in the way? Jesus says he loves me, but I worry about the age gap. Now, you'll notice out of deference and respect to our Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christ, I've let him bum me. I've got a Muslim friend who's really religious. Feel the tension in the room. I've got a Muslim friend who's really religious. He knows the Quran backwards, which is handy, because that's how you read it. Surprisingly well-informed and inoffensive joke about the Islamic faith. And that's because I'm not a fucking idiot. What are the Christians going to do? Forgive me? Good luck with that. Speaking of Christians, any Catholics in? Yeah. Got a few Catholics? Catholics are a weird bunch. Look at the rosary. Basically, anal beads. Good. Excellent. Now, I think the next thing for me, career-wise, ladies and gentlemen, will be doing some sort of interview show where I talk to people, you know, this kind of setup, a couple of couple of chairs, you face off against each other, Parkinson, Jonathan Ross, Graham Norton, those kind of shows. That'd be great to get, but you can't just start doing that on TV like day one. That'd be tricky. So what I thought I would do on this tour is practice. Get someone out of the audience every night with an interesting job or a claim to fame and interview them and get a bit of practice with the interviewing. So to that end, does anyone have an interesting job or a claim to fame? Oh, God, your hand's gone straight up. What do you do? You were on TV in Poland. I will take that to mean you work in the adult film business. So you've been on Polish TV. Okay, well, that's a claim to fame. Well done, you. And Polish radio. Well, finally. That's fucking sealed the deal. Okay, any other claims to fame? Interesting jobs? Any others? I mean, it could be from anywhere. You're a priest. Who's a priest? You're a priest. I'm looking at you. I'm thinking you might have had some dealings with priests. Just stand up, just for a second. Just turn around, just so people can see you. See? I mean, am I being cynical? Or is he definitely not a fucking priest? Any other interesting jobs? What, sorry?
I own my own pizza shop.
You own your own pizza shop? You sound fucking chuffed with yourself. I own my own pizza shop. You know, there's a massive problem with obesity in this country. You should be fucking ashamed. Pizza, well done. Well done. And the best pizza, you say?
Voted best pizza in Britain.
Voted best pizza in Britain by you? Well, what?
Independent pizza.
Best independent pizza. What? I didn't care the first time. You can... I mean... Any other unusual jobs or claims to fame? You're a what? A funeral director? Love. Your voice couldn't go any better with your job. He's fucking dead. How am ya? Dead. It's fucking shit here. Okay, so funeral director, that's interesting. I like that as a job. That's fascinating. Any other interesting jobs? What's your name? Caroline. What do you do, Caroline?
I work in TV.
You work in TV? What do you do in TV?
I work on Holby City.
You work on what, sorry?
Holby City.
You work on Holby City? Well done, I love it. I love what you've done with Holby City. I think the fucking genius move with Holby City recently was casting Hugh Laurie and changing the location to America. Well done, you. I think we should talk to the funeral. Should we talk to the funeral director? Funeral director, what are the chances of you getting down here? Don't fucking jump or we'll have to bury you. But if you can make your way down to here, then we could talk to funeral director. That sounds exciting. While he's making his way down, yeah, give him a smattering. He's making his way. While he's making his way down, because it's a big old venue, he'd take a minute. Any other claims to fame in the room? Any other exciting? You're a what?
Paleontologist.
You're a paleontologist in Birmingham. Just in case any dinosaurs... It's dinosaur bones, yes? And you look at those? Not just dinosaurs? What, have you got another part-time job in Asda, have you? What else do you look at? Different fossils. Wow. I'm sure paleontology, I'm sure that's a brilliant, wonderful scientific thing to do, but I did a project on dinosaurs when I was 6, and I loved it. I was very excited, and I did lots of pictures, and I stuck them in, and I did a whole project on dinosaurs, and I loved them. And then what I did, and this is an interesting note to you, I grew up. I'm still doing my dinosaur book. I like it. I'll indulge you. What's your favourite dinosaur?
A velociraptor.
A velociraptor. Because of Jurassic Park. Right. Oh, you might as well have said Barney. Grow up. Where the fuck is this Undertaker gone? I'm slightly worried that there's been a death in the village and he's been called away. Where the fuck is he? Where the fucking hell did you come from? Come and say hello. You're a funeral director. Hello, how are you? Very nice to meet you, sir. Come and say hello. Right, how are you, sir? Have a sit down.
I'm all right.
What's your... Sorry. How am ya?
Am I too bad, me old booker?
Okay, you're not a gangster rapper, so just hold that like a... hold that like a normal human being. Okay. What's your name? I didn't even get your name.
John.
John. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll set this up properly. Hello, my name's Jimmy Carr. I'm joined this evening by John, the funeral director from Birmingham. John. Tell us then, what does your average day involve?
Making coffins and doing funerals and...
Doing funerals?
Yeah.
Making coffins?
Yeah. Collecting deceased.
I'm slightly terrified by you. How do you... So you collect the body, so in a hearse or in just the back of a transit?
In a private ambulance. Sort of like a transit, but a bit more sophisticated. A bit more sophisticated.
When you say a private ambulance, is it just a transit with ambulance written on it in pen? In dirt?
Not really, no, not quite like that.
Okay, so you go and collect them from the... So you have to turn up all kind of, in a black suit and stuff, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wearing this, so nobody recognises me.
They're not going to recognise you anyway, because they're dead. They probably...
I can't believe I'm here with you, nice one. This is unreal, man.
Must be lovely to meet someone who's just still breathing. Lovely fucking change for you. Do you get involved in the embalming?
Not so much now. When I first started, I had a bit of, I had to help out with the grim stuff, but not so much now. I've been doing it years.
Sorry, so not so much now?
No.
It sounds like there was an incident that stopped you from doing it.
No.
Sounds like they went, hang on, get away from that. That's not for eating.
No, I tend not to do much with the bodies anymore. If that's the right thing to say.
You don't do so much with the bodies now?
No. I'm more to do with coffins and funerals and...
Now, you work in this industry. Is there any... Now, necrophilia is something that's talked about. I'm only asking. Because people think they're going to get away with it, but ultimately, they'll get caught because some rotten cunt will split on them. It's my necrophilia joke, everyone. You're welcome.
Well, I've been caught yet.
You haven't been caught yet? Do you want to hear my favourite, funeral joke? Well, no, Undertaker joke. I don't know if this is, based on a true thing, but you might know this, even. An old lady, beautiful, nice old lady, and her husband's died. And she goes to the funeral parlour where you would work on it, and she's talking to the guy that does your job, and she says, he's beautifully laid out. She said, that classic sort of thing, he's never looked better. He looks lovely, but I wanted him to be in his blue suit, and you've got him in his brown suit. Could you put him in his blue suit, not his brown suit? And the guy says, not a problem, madam. And then leans out the door and goes, change the heads on 2 and 4. Because presumably, once you're burying them, do things get stolen? Because people get buried with jewellery and stuff, do things?
No, nothing like that.
Nothing like that? It's a nice watch, man. Just... And what, you live in Birmingham?
Well, Craigleaf, just outside Birmingham. Black country. In the black country.
Racist. What's that? That's an interesting thing. How did you get into it? How did you get into being a...
I did it from a work experience when I was at school.
You did your work experience.
Yeah.
It sounds like you turned up to that meeting late. What's left, sir? Well, you're going to be working with corpses. That's quite a cool thing, though, isn't it?
Sure.
Has anyone ever woken up? Because you hear stories about it's something to do with fluids in the spine. You hear stories about people kind of bolt upright.
Oh, no, never, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Nothing like that. You just position them how you want and you're away. Now, John, well, look, you've come up and shared a bit about what you do, and I think that's an interesting thing to do. It's a life less ordinary, work as a funeral director with the kind of corpses and things, and death. You've got to deal with it. Hard part of life, but whatever. I feel like I should give something back. And the thing that I'm good at is writing jokes. I'm good at doing sort of one-liners. So I'd like to do a joke for you about it's sort of like my party piece, John. It's what I can do, what I can offer the world as jokes. So what would you like a joke about? Could be anything at all. Could be funeral directing, could be getting married, could be anything you want, anything at all. I will write a joke from, like, off the top of my head, just really quick.
Drum and bass music.
Why did the lion get lost in the forest?
I don't know.
Because jungle is massive.
Yes! Black, black, black!
I think that was too easy. I think that was too easy a thing. So why don't we go for something else? Go for something more difficult. Anything at all. Can be as abstract as you want.
Motorbikes.
All right, okay. Okay, so two motorcycle guys, like bikers, like Hell's Angel bikers, right? Two guys, massive bikes. Okay. Walk into a bar. They're all in the Harley Davidson kit or whatever, helmets on. Walk into a bar. Barman sees them coming. The barman goes, "Drinks, gentlemen?" And the bikers go, "Cheese and onion crisps." Because there's two of them. There's two of them. That's pretty good, isn't it? And now I should probably John, we don't, this isn't like a set-up thing. I don't know you, right? So like, off the top of my head, you said bikers. You could have said anything. Or motorbikes, and I did bikers. And off the top, and two of them, and then...
Brilliant.
John, everyone, give him a round of applause. John, thank you so much. Really appreciate coming up, man. Thank you so much. Hey, you want to go back that? You can go around that way. Thanks, man. John, everyone. Oh, I very much enjoyed my brilliant motorbike joke. There was no joke there, John. We're just fucking with you. He's the nicest man. I hope when I die, he buries me. Don't interfere, John. Leave that alone. I didn't like it when I was alive. Right, more on me. My girlfriend said to me during sex, she said, "Did you remember to lock the front door?" I said, "Yeah, there's no way you're going to escape." I had a relationship with a blind girl, which was rewarding but challenging. It took me ages to get her husband's voice right. You didn't see that coming. Neither did she. Who picks up guide dog shit? Some young women drink so much they black out and can't remember what happened the night before. If that's you, don't worry, love. I made a video. I shouldn't joke. My granddad was an alcoholic. We used to call him Alco Pops. I remember he used to press flowers. Well, I say that, he used to fall over a lot in the garden. Have you all been to the cinema recently? Has everyone been to the cinema? See, there's an advert now in the cinema telling you not to buy pirate DVDs because it's not the real cinema experience. And then it goes on to say, because if you buy a pirate DVD, someone might get up in the middle of the film and go for a piss. And you think, yeah, that is annoying. But it's a lot like being in a cinema. My ex-girlfriend bought me the Kama Sutra last year as a gift, which put me in a very awkward position. I'd like to talk about a sex act that I don't fully understand. Are you all familiar with the 69, yes? No, I like the 69 as much as the next man. Hoping he isn't man, that'd be terrible. I like the 69, but I don't really understand it because it's an incredibly intimate thing to do with another human being. But how does the 69 ever occur? It only ever happens when the man says to the woman, would you do that thing that I like? And the woman goes, yeah, all right, but only if you do that thing that I like. And the man goes, not a problem, away you go. And the woman says, no, because the last time I did the thing that you liked, you were a little bit sleepy afterwards. You fucked off to sleep. You said, we'll call it a 68. It's like a 69, but I owe you one. I like everything about the 69 apart from the view. The perineum, or taint. I like to call it the Amanda Holden. Because like Amanda Holden, on Britain's Got Talent last year, it's the bit between the arsehole and the cunt. Piers fucking Morgan. He's interviewing people now. When I said I wanted Piers Morgan to get Parkinson's, I didn't mean his fucking job. You shaking your head at a Parkinson's joke. That's inappropriate. Right, let's try some rude stuff, see how we get along. Lady wind. Queefing. Fanny farts. The expulsion of air from the vajayjay during sexual intercourse. A cunt grunt. There are two main responses when a queef occurs. Some couples, it doesn't matter how gnarly or squelchy the noise, they deny the queef. Did you hear anything? No, I didn't hear anything. And they move on. Some couples, it's a funny little noise, they have a little giggle, they move on. Not a problem. I like to go a third way. I like to pretend the vagina is talking to me. What's that? There's a boy trapped down a well. I like to think of myself as the vagina whisperer. What happened? Are you getting a phone call? There's a Scottish lady getting a phone call. I imagine the drugs are arriving any moment. You all right? You switched it off and it rang anyway? Well, I'm not buying that fucking story. Don't worry, it's okay. It's only a phone. Don't feel bad. It's a what, sorry? It's a late alarm to come and see me. Or come and see me an hour fucking late. You're not the one I booked for the interval, are you? It's very difficult to get dirty talk right. Have you noticed this? It's very difficult to get dirty talk right. Like in a long-term relationship, it's fine, because you know where your boundaries are, you know your partner. But on a one-night stand, fraught with danger. I've got a story concerning a friend of mine. He's quite good at pulling. We were all at a party together, and he pulled a girl that none of us knew. Ended up back at her place that night having sex. Well done him, high five. So he told us the story the next day. He said she started it. They were having sex. She said, talk dirty to me. Or more accurately, talk dirty to me. So from the Rolodex of filth in his head, he came forth with this. And this would be fine for many of the ladies here. Within the confines of the bedroom, within the boudoir, this would be an okay thing to say. With a long-term, loving, trusting partner. On a one-night stand, maybe not. He said, you love it, you slut. She said, I'm not a slut. And there was a very awkward moment. Awkward as moments can be when you've just insulted someone you're balls deep in. He apologized profusely, needless to say, and they moved on. I imagine there's a story there, madam. Well, you know how when you've got a phrase you're not meant to say, it's all you can think to say? It's on the tip of your tongue. So like 2 minutes later, right, my friend, he somehow lost track of what he wasn't meant to say, says it again. You love it, you slut. She said, I'm not a slut. And he got into an argument with her. He didn't mean to. It was like a reflex. When she said, I'm not a slut for the second time, he went, well, we have just met. She said, you don't know me. He said, well, that just proves my point. Are there any couples in this evening? Give us a shout, the couples. couples in tonight. This is a bit silly, I think, but for Valentine's, I got my girlfriend sex vouchers as her present. I didn't realise they were transferable. Turns out they accept them at her work. You get to the stage in a long-term relationship where you want to experiment sexually, but, you know, it can be awkward. And what if she finds out? I'm 10 years into a relationship now. Anyone beat that? Anyone longer than 10 years? What's the longest we got in the room? 13? 26. Anyone more than 26? 28? More than 28? How long? Sorry? You've been together for 43 years? I think, come on, 43 years. Now, I don't know what it's like after 43 years. I think that's an extraordinary commitment, especially in this day and age. That is quite something. But I don't know if it's the same for you, because I've only been together with my girl for 10 years, but things have got quite predictable in the bedroom. Now, when I lower my entire ball bag into her mouth, she is pretty much guaranteed to wake up. Same? Oh, you couldn't see that? He just went, yeah, same. You look worried on their behalf. They've been married 43 years. Don't panic. They've tried everything. What's your relationship with them? How do you know them? That's your mum and dad? Oh. That's nice. Well, I hope the image of your dad teabagging your mum hasn't... I for one... I don't know about looking your parents in the eyes again. I don't think you'll be able to drink tea. Hi. Shit, sorry. Well, this will be hard for you to believe. I used to be a gentleman. I didn't used to talk about my sexual exploits, even with close friends. Never kiss and tell. Always just keep it private. It's private life for a reason. Private. Now, I'll talk about anything. It's great for me because it's a catharsis, but also I think it's good for everyone because you talk about things, everyone feels a bit more open and a bit more normal because, there's weird things. Here's an example of an intimate detail I don't mind sharing with you. My girlfriend can't have orgasms during intercourse, but it's not a problem because I can. I gave my girlfriend an orgasm and she spat it back in my face. When my first girlfriend choked to death, it was a terrible blow. I had to finish myself off. There are inequalities between the sexes, and I think it's universally acknowledged men get an easier deal in our society than women. But I can think of an example where men get a very raw deal. Early on in a relationship, before you live together, when you're just kind of staying over each other's houses, very exciting phase in a relationship. In the history of the world, no man has ever been staying over at a girl's house and found a vibrator in her bedside drawer, and there's been a problem. There is only one reaction on record, and that is as follows. Oh, hello. Cheeky. What is she like? But when she finds a latex vagina in your sock drawer, there is hell to pay. Explanations must be made. I say sock drawer, it's actually the office. I say latex vagina, it was the receptionist. Right, let's hear it from the men of Birmingham. Give us a shout, the men. Well, specifically, give me a shout, the heterosexual men of Birmingham. Same voice is just a little bit lower, because you've got... Have you had the conversation, the pub conversation, the classic pub conversation, if you had to sleep with a man, who would it be? Have you had that conversation? You had that conversation? You haven't had that conversation? I will save you the embarrassment, so I'll tell you what happens in that conversation. So you're in the pub with a mate, having a drink, talking about love and life, whatever. Out of nowhere, your mate goes, if you had to sleep with a man, who would it be? Well, I wouldn't, so it wouldn't be anyone. But if you had to, who would it be? Well, I wouldn't, so it wouldn't be anyone. But if you had to, though, well, I wouldn't, though, so no one. But if you had to, well, I wouldn't. But if you had to sleep with a man, who would it be? Well, I wouldn't. But if you had to, though, well, I wouldn't, though, so no one. But if you had to, well, I wouldn't. But if you had to, though, Well, I wouldn't, though. But if you had to, though. Well, I wouldn't. But if you had to, I wouldn't. If you had to, I wouldn't. If you had to sleep with a man, who would it be? I wouldn't. But if you had to, I wouldn't. But if you had to, though, well, I wouldn't, though. But if you had to, I wouldn't. If you had to, well, puff. I got accused of being gay the other day. I was on stage doing a gig and I had a pink shirt on and someone accused me of being gay. I went, gay, it's a gay shirt, pink shirt, gay. I can't think of a more masculine colour for a shirt than a pink shirt, because a pink shirt shows the world you don't know how to put a wash on. What could be more masculine? I often get asked, what celebrities have you been with, have you slept with? And I don't want to give it the big one, but it was years ago, so it probably doesn't matter if I say. Do you want to know? Yeah. Gary Glitter. Have any of you seen my impressions? Have you seen any of my impressions before? I don't do many. I do a few. I'll do one for you now. Are there any lesbians in? Does anyone enjoy smashing pasties? Are there any lesbians? There must be some lesbians, surely. What is there, a pool tournament on? Well, where are the lesbians? You up there somewhere? Oh, there's some lesbians up there. Are there lesbians over here? Hello, girls, how are you? You all right? Very nice to have you in. The impression that I do, it's more a piece of physical theatre than an impression per se. But it's the... hang on, the cameraman's coming to get the lesbians. It's more a piece of physical theatre than an impression, but it's actually, it's the breakup of a same-sex relationship between two women. And I think it captures the emotional turmoil and the anguish when love breaks down. When you still love that person, but you're no longer in love with that person, and you've got to go your separate ways. Would you like me to perform it for you now? Okay. Just give me a second here. What did you think was going to happen? I feel duty-bound now. What's your name, madam? What? Chiral. Okay, fine, Chiral. Sure, we'll go with Chiral. And who are you with? Who's the other half? Rosie. Hi. I feel duty-bound to ask you the question I've asked every lesbian I've ever met. What would it take to get you back on solids? Oh, I got a maybe, yes. I'm 2 Bacardi Breezes away. Come on. I often get asked about heckles. That's a very common question for me. People want to know, what's your favourite heckle, what's the worst heckle, that kind of thing. I was doing a gig last year on the Rapier Wit tour, the last tour, and I was doing a joke about the Paralympics. Now, when you're doing a joke about the Paralympics, you've got to be a little bit careful when you're setting up a piece of material like that you're not fuck-witted, disrespectful. So I was setting it up quite carefully. I'd got one sentence in. All I said was, my favourite event at the Paralympics. And this guy at the back of the room, quick as a fucking flash, went, cripple jump. I wish I hadn't, but I fucking pissed myself. The other one I loved, I was doing a gig last year in Cardiff, and front and centre, this guy front and centre where you're sitting there, madam, out of nowhere, 20 minutes into the gig, he just went, dragon. So there wasn't a massive pause before he said dragon. That was just to let you know what happened there. In my head, I had to go, whose coat is that jacket? To get it started in my head. For 20 minutes in, he just went, dragon. I went, what? He went, dragon. I went, yeah, but what do you want? He went, I'd like a joke about a dragon, please. And he said it like I was the cunt for turning up in Wales without any dragon-based humour. So in the interval, I felt duty-bound to go and write a joke about a dragon. Do you want to hear my dragon joke? Yes. Okay. 2 dragons walk into a pub. Don't panic, Johnny, makes sense. Brilliant. Oh, I love John. I'm just imagining a funeral called, what do they call it when all the cars? Procession, yeah, funeral procession with drum and bass. Has your hearse got blue lights underneath it? I think that'd be quite good. That'd look like it was haunted. Two dragons walk into a bar. One says to the other, "It's hot in here." The other one says, "Shut your mouth." Now, I thought what we might do this evening, Birmingham, obviously you've all come out to see the show this evening. I'm very grateful for that. I love my job. I love the fact you come out to see me live. But we're all sort of friends here, and you've bought tickets to come and see me at the show. So I tend not to get heckled in the way that I used to get heckled when I used to play the clubs. When I used to play the clubs, you were unannounced. The venue was bigger than the name, so people would come along, they wouldn't be invested. If they didn't like it, they would shout rude things out. I used to love that, proper aggressive heckling. I thought, well, why don't we? Because people tend not to do it at these kind of gigs because people don't want to fuck up the evening for themselves or for anyone else. Hold your horses just 1 second. People tend, one notable exception, people tend not to want to fuck the gig up. But I thought it's quite nice, it's quite a fun thing, heckles. So why don't we have a heckle amnesty, a little 2-3 minutes where you can just fill your boots. If you've got something abusive to shout, have at it. Have you actually got Tourette's? That was so quick. Cunt, fuck bum. And fuck bum, that's such a weird thing to shout. Fuck bum. Like the rudest words you know. Fuck, cunt bum. Any other heckles? What, sorry? Peter Kay was sold out, so you had to come here. Yeah. Unlucky. I bet he wouldn't have called you a cunt. Unfortunately, I'm not Peter Kay. Cunt. It's a very different kind of show. Peter's show's good too. Any other heckles? My crisps tasted rubbish. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, no, you didn't. I became Latino there for a second. No, you didn't. Yeah, I did. I had crisps. Did you see I had crisps? Jimmy Carr crisps. The good people at Walker's, for comic relief, they brought out a flavour of my crisps, and it was me and Al Murray and Frank Skinner and Stephen Fry. And then they made these crisps, and every packet they sold, they gave 5 pence to the starving people in Africa. And I said to them, why don't you just send them the fucking crisps? It's got to make more sense, hasn't it? Because they can't be as fussy about the flavours. If you're starving, you're fine, aren't you? Well, these are a bit, nah, fair enough. Any other heckles? When's the comedy on? When's the comedy on? Really? What's your name, sir? What's your name? David. David? What's your favourite colour, David?
Blue.
Blue, okay. Seems like the fairest way to deal with you, David. There are so many things I could say. Number between 1 and 8, David.
6.
6. Okay, and you said to me, when's the comedy on? Well, it says, if you want my comeback, you'll have to scrape it off your mum's teeth. These things don't lie, David. These things don't lie. Nah, I'm kidding. She swallowed the lot. Wow. Any others? What, sorry? I've got a big nose. What are you, fucking retarded? I mean, I literally don't have a big nose. That's a weird that's like an insult you've heard someone else use. And you've gone, that got a big fucking laugh. That's going to work best with a comic with a big nose. What's your name, sir? Thomas. What do you do, Thomas? You're a student. What are you studying? Mathematics? Are you at school, Thomas? I don't know if we should continue this any further because it's starting to feel like grooming. Are you at school? Yeah, I'm at school. You got a big nose. I haven't. Any other heckles? Oh, what was that? That sounded good. Go on, what was that? What was it? I'm a paedophile. I was just fucking chatting to him. I've done nothing. Any others? Yes. Dad? Any other heckles? What, sorry? Posh prick. Posh prick seems a bit harsh. What's your name, sir? Miles. Miles. And you think I might be a bit posh? All right, Miles. What's your favourite colour? Blue. Seems like the fairest way to deal with this. You get some B-L-U-E. Number between 1 and 8, Miles. 4. All right. Ooh. It says if you've come as a cunt, you've won. Bit of good news. Any more for any more? Who the fuck has a side parting? You're going to kick yourself when I tell you. Me. I think you know your doctor isn't great if the STI check is a taste test. My girlfriend used to smoke after sex, so we started using lubricant. I was in bed with a girl recently. She said, I want tonight to be magical. And it was. After I fucked her, I disappeared. I got into an argument with my ex, and in the middle of the argument, she went, what kind of an idiot do you take me for? I couldn't resist. I went, a fat one? In my defense, she was fat. She didn't get a suntan, she got crackling. She was legally required to make a beeping noise when moving backwards. She wasn't that big when we got together, but she bloomed. I mean, I've seen girls put on weight before, but she took the biscuit. On the plus side, just a nicer way of saying it. I quite like a euphemism. Of course, the classic euphemism is if someone's gay, instead of saying gay, you would say, he's a friend of Dorothy's. If someone's really fat, I like to say, he's a friend of Greg's. I had a super awkward moment on stage recently. So I was on stage doing a gig. I said, any questions? And someone went, are you ever going to have children? I said, I don't want to make you feel bad about asking, but my girlfriend and I actually can't have children. The way we do it. So no use trying the other way because you can't get pregnant in the mouth either. Are there any parents in? We got any parents? Give us a shout, parents. Yeah. Has anyone got parents? Yeah. If you had to think about that, you're an idiot. Only point about parents is all parents have got a favourite. If your parents told you they didn't have a favourite, all it means is you weren't it. Unless you're an only child. If you're an only child and your parents went out of their way to tell you they didn't have a favourite, that is bad. With her last child, Angelina Jolie had a very difficult delivery. She wasn't in and had to pick it up from the sorting office. In a long-term relationship, it's important to be a good listener. I think she's asleep. I might pop downstairs for a wank. You're familiar with the phrase, fuck buddy. Have you all heard the phrase, fuck buddy? Yes? I've got a friend that didn't know what that meant. I used it in a conversation, and he didn't know what it meant. I had to explain what a fuck buddy was. I said, it's like a friend you have regular sex with. He said, well, how's that different from a normal relationship? I said, they're your friend. And you have regular sex with them. It's like the opposite of a normal relationship. I found out the hard way. There's a big difference between hanging out with a mate's girlfriend and hanging out of a mate's girlfriend. It's a lovely turn of phrase. I could get a job on Sky Sports. I got into an argument with my girlfriend. She said, "You treat this house like a hotel." I said, "I have never snorted cocaine off a hooker's tits in this house." Told my girlfriend the top she was wearing was too revealing. Said Jimmy sometimes cries after sex. We got into a row. You'll be familiar with this. If you're in a long-term relationship, this is the kind of scenario for a row that I think happens a lot. We got into a fight on the way back from a party. So we went to this amazing party. It's about 2:30 in the morning. We're driving home. So I'm driving. I haven't had anything to drink, stone cold sober, driving. She's had quite a lot to drink. I mean, in terms of units of alcohol, she's had an awful lot to drink. But she's not drunk. And I know she's not drunk. I know she isn't drunk because she told me she wasn't drunk 400 fucking times. You know, like sober people don't. Anyway, the worst thing about this argument, I didn't even say anything. Someone else said something, and she was talking about that, and I just agreed with the fact that the other person said. And it was a fact. It wasn't a point for debate. It was a fact. So I was driving along, right? She's talking a lot. I'm listening a little. Okay, my bad. But she's telling me about the evening in real time. And I was there for most of it, so I don't need to be hearing this. A lot of the stories involve me. Right, so we're driving along, she tells me this story, and she got to the point, she said, this mutual friend of ours, this girl that we both know, she said, that girl said my dress was short. I went, yeah, it is. You're taking her side? Why don't you go back to the party? Why don't you drive her home? It was short. I mean, it was a really short, it was what I would call a greyhound. You call it a greyhound? It was just an inch away from the hair. It was a really short skirt. So, like, I went, it is short, yeah. She went, oh, you're taking her side? Why don't you go back to the party and drive her home then if you fancy her so much? Trying to undermine me, you saying I've got fat legs? Suddenly fucking Chewbacca's in the car. You never fucking fancy me anymore, you know what the fuck? There's just snot and... Next thing I know, like within 20 seconds, she's pulling on the car door. We're doing 40 miles an hour, middle of nowhere, 2:30 in the morning. She's going, I'll walk home, trying to open the car door. She's not wearing a seatbelt because she's pissed. Opening the car door, safer. Opening the car door, I have to stop the car. Because it's dangerous, right? So as soon as I stop the car, she fucks off out, immediately. Teetering on heels up the road. No coat, no money, no keys, no idea where she's fucking going. I'll walk home, you don't even fucking care, I'll fucking walk home. So I have to do the dutiful boyfriend thing of driving along at 4 fucking miles an hour. Come on, get back in the car. It's all my fault. It's not my fault, I've done fuck all here. Come on, get back in the car, I'll buy you chips. Just please, just get back in the car. Anyway, long story short, I got arrested for curb crawling. I don't know about you, but I think the best thing about a big, passionate argument is tumbling into bed together afterwards and lying in cold, grim silence until dawn. Are you asleep? I can't sleep. I'm too full of hate. Any fans of make-up sexing? Anyone had good make-up sex? Give us a shout, yes? Yeah. Make-up sex is pretty awesome, but timing is critical. Because if you get overexcited and you go for the make-up sex too early and the argument's still happening, that is a little bit rapey. Let's hear it from the ladies of Birmingham. Give us a shout, ladies. Oh, you sound in very good spirits. Do you think you're easy to live with, ladies? Yes. The vast majority say yes. Well, this is going to be educational and informative. I'm going to tell you how easy you are to live with, ladies, and I'm going to do it with a couple of questions, okay? Have you ever met a gay man?
Yes.
Have you ever noticed how happy homosexual men are? How joyful and carefree and full of life. We're going dancing, Bacardi breezes, higher. Well, that's what we were like before we met you. Interesting little fact for you. 3% of all new homes are built specifically for pensioners, and they're called coffins. My grandmother, I loved her to death. Smothered. I'm joking, I fucked her. Now, I don't normally do political stuff on my stage show, you know, on the tour, but I saw something that caught my eye recently. It was in Croydon. Anyone in from Croydon? One person down there? I hope you're having a knife crime. Sorry. Nice time, my bad. So it was this thing, it happened in Croydon. I saw it in the local paper down in Croydon, and it was a BNP campaign. Are you familiar with this carnival of cunts? So it's a British National Party campaigner was handing out leaflets in Croydon High Street. And you know, when people are handing out leaflets, I mean, handing out leaflets in Croydon High Street for the BNP is the Everest of stupid, needless to say. But he's handing out these leaflets. You know, sometimes you don't look at a leaflet when you're in the high street. You just pick it up and kind of take it, and you're a couple of steps before you look at the thing. So this guy picked up a leaflet. Oh, British National Party, that's interesting. Bang. And properly connected with a punch. Now, I'm not advocating violence. No, never solved anything. But on this occasion, I will let it go because he gave the BNP campaigner a black eye. And that is pretty genius. Because for that fucker, that's adding insult to injury. A lot of planning is going on in London for the 2012 Olympics. Sadly, most of it is being done by Al-Qaeda. I just don't understand it. Why would you become an Islamic fundamentalist suicide bomber on the off chance you might get 72 virgins when you die? Become a Catholic priest and have them now. Life's for living, am I right? My favourite suicide bomber of the last year. Oh, you're better than me because you haven't got a list, whatever. My favourite suicide bomber, well, I've got a couple that I really like. The Detroit bomber. Do you know this guy that flew into Detroit last Christmas? So he flew into Detroit airport. He had an explosive device in his underpants. The triggering device went off. The explosives didn't detonate. So there was smoke billowing around, but everything didn't blow up straight away, just smoke billowing. So the other passengers, you can imagine in America post 9/11 how they put him out. They didn't run and get a safety blanket and some water and a stewardess. No, they stamped the fucker out. In quite a camp flamenco style, if this is anything to go by. Possibly with a... But I mean, they fucking ruined this guy. They didn't kill him, but they ruined him. Now, normally, I would say, well, you know what? Fuck him. He was trying to kill innocent people as they flew home for Christmas. Fuck him very much. But my heart goes out to this guy, because his court case is coming up in America in the next couple of months, and he's going to have a very tough time in a court of law defending himself, because the prosecution have got it so easy. The prosecution are just going to go, you telling the truth? Yeah, I'm telling the truth. Were your pants on fire? My favourite suicide bomber, though, he was an assassin suicide bomber in the United Arab Emirates, okay? He was sent to kill one man. He didn't, he just killed himself. Technically a win for them, but I'm very happy with that. Okay, so he was sent to kill this guy, and in order to get close to the guy he was going to try and kill, he had to conceal the bomb. He had the bomb concealed, wait for it, up his bum. Literally a suicide bummer. I mean, if people are going to start putting bombs up their bums, the shit is really going to hit the fan. Now, I don't know how that bomb was detonated, but I like to think, in this day and age, even someone as fuck-witted as a suicide bomber, even someone that morally retarded, would have seen the opportunity for comedy in that situation. And that bomb, up his bum, would have been detonated something along the lines of, pull my finger. Imagine passers-by going, what did he have for lunch? Oh, I've got some more pictures. Do you want to see some more pictures? Yeah! See some more pictures. I was going to talk to you briefly about sports, ladies and gentlemen. Chinese gymnast Lu Li is the smallest person ever to have taken part in the Olympic Games. Lu Li was just 4 foot 3 inches tall. Wow, Was the second smallest. Ice dancing. Of course, ice dancing won't be around. Any fans of ice dancing in? Ice dancing, of course, won't be around forever because of global warming and AIDS. Snooker and darts. Snooker and darts have seen their viewing figures steadily decline since the introduction in 1983 of remote controls. Just 22% of Liverpool fans reside in Liverpool. The rest are on remand in other cities. Wayne Rooney. He's not as clever as he looks. Let's talk about technology. Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking is sort of half man, half computer. I bet when he dies, it's a virus. He's got medical insurance and Norton. In America, they're called astronauts. In Russia, they're called cosmonauts. And in Britain, they're called balloonists. The greatest ride at Disney is the girl that works in the Toffee Apple kiosk. Pornography. I'll come to that later. If you'll pardon the expression. And the expression, of course, will be that of a turtle shitting. The thing with internet porn is it still has the power to surprise us. I saw something on the internet the other day that really shocked me. It was one man having sex with one woman. There was no gangbang, no DP, no anal, no dwarves, no three-way, no water sports, no girl-on-girl, no gagging, no rimming, no granny fanny, no DV, no DA, no she-males, no MILFs, and no one looked barely legal. It was just one man having sex with one woman. I thought, well, who comes up with this crazy shit? Let's talk about sex. Adult supervision. To me, adult supervision sounds like the ability to see through bras. The average speed of ejaculation is 43 miles per hour, which is why it's so important to keep it away from children. 20 is plenty. Around children, you've got to be very careful with the language that you use. For example, say fiddlesticks instead of vibrators. I don't think lesbians should be allowed to use vibrators. You've made your decision. No more sin on the fence. Either. Hermaphrodites. Can go and fuck themselves. A transvestite is a man that dresses to look like a woman, and the woman they dress to look like is Jane McDonald. Someone told my girlfriend the best way to improve oral sex was to hum. All I'm saying is the theme from Corrie is not erotic. Anal sex for women is like Marmite. It's brown and it smells funny. Condoms come in packs of 3, ideal for married couples because there's birthdays, Christmas, Valentine's. I don't think you should ever treat a woman as a sex object, but I do think you should give them a rinse after you've used them. You don't agree? You'd rather be left looking like a plasterer's radio? My girlfriend's got a cleanliness problem downstairs. Yeah, the kitchen's a fucking state. I'm joking. She's actually got a virulent yeast infection in her vagina. Let's talk about relationships. The last relationship I had, I ruined by blurting out, "I love you," too early, which gave away the fact I was hiding behind the curtains. People often ask me about most embarrassing moment. It's probably when I first got introduced to my girlfriend's parents. I remember my girlfriend saying, There's the bad man there. I don't like the term partner, because it makes it sound like we're fighting crime. I don't like the term housewife or stay-at-home mum. I prefer to say lazy sluts. My girlfriend says she's good at doing two things at the same time. If that's the case, why is a threesome out of the question? Don't judge me, I improvised. It's not that bad, it's got a face. I often walk around the house naked, till the neighbours chase me inside. Some friends of mine just had a baby, but because of some issues, they had to use a surrogate mother, and because of a medical thing, they had to use a sperm donor. So really what I'm saying is, some people I don't know just had a baby. One of the symptoms of having conjunctivitis is that when you wake up in the morning, your eyes are so sticky you can hardly open them. My girlfriend has it a lot. Sometimes she gets conjunctivitis on her tits. Right, final one of these. This is my favourite joke in the show. I'm going to try not to fuck it up, but I slightly fucked it up last night because I giggled halfway through. But I'm going to dig deep for Birmingham. Come on. Okay. I can do this. When I broke up with my first wife, I didn't want anything from her in the settlement, except a pint of milk, 4 egg yolks, a vanilla pod, an ounce of caster sugar, and 2 fluid ounces of single cream. She mixed the whole up in a bowl, and she threw it in my face. But on the plus side, I did get custody. I'll do. Good. Thanks very much. I think civil partnerships are gay. Apparently, one of the biggest fears is the unknown, like, I don't know. Apparently, taking the dog for a walk is a good way to find a woman. But what if you want to find a woman who's still alive? Did you read this? Did you read about this American man that's suing his ex-wife to get back the kidney he donated to her while they were married? That is taking the piss. My father always used to say to me, there's no such word as can't. I said, no, I called you a cunt. People claim to be into recycling, but you should see their faces when you rinse out a condom. I do a bit of baking. Does anyone else bake cookies and cakes and things? I do a bit of baking. My specialty is a brownie with nuts, which I call a scout. Come on, where's your sense of fun? Do you get annoyed by cold callers? You know, of an evening, you're at home relaxing after a hard day at work, watching TV, flicking through a magazine, the phone rings, it's a strange voice you don't recognize, talking about something you're not interested in. Oh, Mr. Jimmy, I have your baby now, you send money quick, you bad man! Fuck off. Do you get this? Do you get the public-private phone call problem? So this is when you're at work surrounded by colleagues or in the pub surrounded by friends, you get a phone call off your other half, and at the end of the phone call, they say something that you would normally say something back, like it's like your thing, but you don't want to say it because there's people around, it's a bit embarrassing. So at the end of the phone call goes, all right, bye. No, you know I do. No, there's people around. I don't want to. Well, don't be like that. All right, I'll say it. I want to choke you with my cock. A charity worker came to my front door and they were collecting for a homeless shelter, so I gave them a cardboard box. Beggars can't be choosers, am I right? I did one of those nude calendars for charity. Yeah, Childline were livid. I did a gig for Alzheimer's sufferers. It was brilliant, 2 hours, 1 joke. I did a gig for Alzheimer's sufferers. Right, final thought. If only Africa had more mosquito nets, then every year we could save millions of mosquitoes from dying needlessly of AIDS. I've been Jimmy Carr. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers. Good night. Thank you. Cheers. Far too time. Thanks very much. Cheers. Very nice of you, Birmingham. I couldn't ask for a better audience. It would hurt your feelings. Well, that's pretty much my show. I thought a nice way to end might be there's a theory in comedy. Lenny Bruce, the American satirist, was the first to say it. He said the audience is a genius. And the idea is the audience, you regulate comedy. You decide what a comedian can and can't say on stage, because if you don't laugh at a joke, it is not socially acceptable. If you do, then just by definition, it is socially acceptable. I thought, well, we could put that to the test tonight. We could start gently, work our way up, and see at what stage Birmingham goes, oh, for fuck's sake. Do you want to give it a go? Okay, all right. Well, we'll start gentle, we'll work our way up, okay? So everyone's comfortable. At some stage, people will stop laughing, and then that's the end. Exciting. Well, we'll start gentle. Pope Benedict. Incidentally, he's called Pope Benedict because he comes with a hollandaise sauce. Hang on, that's not a hollandaise sauce. Benedict! As head of the Catholic Church, Pope Benedict is the boss of every Catholic priest in the world. He's effectively king of the pedos. I read about a Catholic priest that exposed himself, so they defrocked him. They don't help themselves, do they? Well, they do, that's part of the problem. This scandal could bring the Catholic Church to its knees. You've got to finish that one in your own head. Somewhat ironically. I don't think the Pope should worry about the sex scandal. It'll all get sorted out soon enough when Jesus Christ, our Lord and Saviour, comes back from the made-up. Well, you all seem pretty happy with a little bit of Christian baiting, yeah? Should we take it up again? Okay. My girlfriend can be really loud during sex. I don't know why. She knows no one's coming to help. Fine. Up another gear? Treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen. You all heard that expression? Treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen. Treat them mean, you will keep them keen. If that was really true, if that really worked, treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen, wouldn't the Jews absolutely adore the Germans? Really? Really? A round of applause on a joke about the worst thing that's ever happened? Ever? Where do we go from there? It's a joke about the worst thing that's ever happened. Hang on. This might offend some of you. People say, smug, sanctimonious people, in my opinion, but people do say from time to time, you hear them, Princess Diana should have been wearing a seatbelt. If she'd been wearing a seatbelt, she'd be here with us today. To those people, I say this. I say, you try snorting cocaine off a cock in the back of a limo while wearing a seatbelt. You can't be fucking done. I saw that little shaky head there, and I presume that was disapproval, madam. But to me, that looked like you were going, it can't be done, I've tried a million fucking times. Where do we go from there? Okay, so we've had one fucking out, but everyone else seems fine. You better fuck off. A child can drown in just 4 inches of water, but you might as well run a bath. That feels like it should have been more offensive than it was. A child died in that joke. But I tend to do wordplay, so you get away with murder with wordplay, literally in that last joke. Because people go, well, it's just a joke, it doesn't really matter. Actually, when you talk about real stuff that's happened in your life that's a bit darker, and sort of observational stuff, which people think of as being more sort of family-friendly, but when you talk about real stuff that's happened to you, that's where people get more offended, if it happens to be darker. And you know, there's a weird thing where that's where comedy's useful. When bad things happen in your life, you need a bit of cheering up. That's where comedy has a purpose in our lives. Let's talk about something that's happened to me recently. And I'm fine talking about it, so I don't think it should be a problem for you to hear about it. But it is a little bit more, because it is a real thing, some people get a bit edgy, a bit more offended by stuff that's real. My girlfriend recently had a miscarriage, and it was doubly bad because I had to pay for it. That feels like we're getting somewhere. And I realise an abortion can be a very upsetting thing for a woman. But at the same time, who doesn't get a little confidence boost when they lose a bit of weight? Well, let's cut to the chase on this, shall we? Let's talk about what you can and what you cannot say on stage. A very good friend of mine, a guy that I've worked with the last 10 years, we're pretty close. We've written jokes together and we know each other. He knows that I say this on stage. He's fine with it. But Frankie Boyle, you all know Frankie, yes? Now, Frankie got into a lot of trouble last year for doing a joke on stage that contained the word Down syndrome. And I think it's sad. I think it does nothing more than betray his ignorance and insensitivity. What a spastic. Why are they called Sunshine Variety Coaches when all the kids on board look the same? Well, if that joke's getting a round of applause, I'm out. I'm happy to back away from there. It's a weird thing, though, because I suppose the thing that we've all got in common in this room is we all share a sense of humour. We're all laughing at the same kind of things. It's a weird thing where I laugh the very loudest just before I have a sense of humour failure. I find that if the closer to the edge, the funniest jokes for me are the jokes that I laugh at, and as I'm laughing, I go, I'm a terrible human being. Funny, though. Oh, I'm a terrible human being. Do you want to hear the joke that got me? Yeah. I heard a joke, it's an Australian joke, just a pub joke from Australia. That gives you an idea of how fucking brutal it is. The Aussies came up with it. Are you sure you want to hear this? Yeah. Okay, well, I'll cleanse my palate before I tell you this. Like a sorbet. It's like a Solero. How do you make a gay fuck a woman? Shit in her cunt. I know. Don't think I don't know, because I know. I know. There's no use giving me a look as if I didn't pay £25 to listen to this film. Because you did, and you know you did. I realise my jokes can often be brutal and cruel. And when you think about the content of what I'm talking about in these jokes, it is unacceptable, frankly. But then, the only purpose of these jokes is to make you laugh. There's no message here. No one's learnt anything this evening, have they? I fucking hope not. Because, I mean, the only purpose for these jokes is to make you laugh for 2 hours. It's to release endorphins. That's all I'm doing up here. They're just jokes. I'm just messing around. And some people just like being offended. It's a weird thing. I did a gig in Newcastle last year, and this woman came up to me afterwards at the signing, face like fucking thunder, and went, "That was disgusting, rude, juvenile, filth. No better than last year." Fuck off. I don't know what the fuck I meant to do with that. Bloody crazy fool. Sorry about that joke. You realise that joke about the Australian pub joke, you realise that's the only joke you will now be able to remember. That's the way that works. Whatever the most offensive joke is the only one you'll be able to recall. The next time you're at a family wedding or a funeral, fucking hell. Poor John. I know you're here to collect the body. I've lost my husband. I feel so terribly low. Maybe a joke would cheer me up. How'd you make a gay fuck a woman? I'll get Nick out. Well, look, I haven't been up here on my own this evening. First and foremost, I interviewed him earlier. He's a funeral director. If you die, wouldn't you want to be looked after by him? And when I say looked after, I mean nothing more than what is normal. It's John, everyone. Give him a round of applause. Thanks, John. Thanks for coming down. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming out, especially this evening, because it's been sort of, you know, the DVD record, which is always a bit of a nerve-wracking gig. And I fucking love playing Birmingham. I love coming here, and I couldn't if you didn't buy tickets to come out to the show. So thanks so much. I really do appreciate it, because I love my job. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jimmy Carr.
Far too kind. Well, let's crack on, shall we? Good evening, you well? Fantastic. I've been described as the hardest working man in comedy. Not that impressive, is it? The hardest working man in comedy. That's like being the best looking guy in the Burns unit. No offense to any Burns victims we got in. Are there any in? If there's one, there'll be fucking loads. They tend to stick together. And we're off. Someone came up to me outside and went, "I thought you'd be younger." I said, "I was." I'm 40 years of age, but girls still check me out. I wouldn't mind, but they're so bloody obvious about it, pointing and whispering. Stranger danger. Every night after the show, I have attractive women banging on my dressing room door, and sometimes I let them out. Are there any comedy groupies in here this evening? Any gag hags? Any chuckle fuckers? The only reason I ask is if any girls come up to me after the show looking for sex, I'm going to have to disappoint you. I mean, we can have sex. Just it will be quite disappointing. I wouldn't lie to you, it'd be like throwing a sausage up an alleyway. More information than some of you wanted, okay. I'm a stand-up comedian, a TV host, an actor, and a writer. People ask me, "What's your secret?" I'm the M4 rapist. It's a joke. I've never been wrongly accused of rape. We all like a laugh, yes? That's the one thing we've all got in common in this room. We all like a laugh. It's a very British thing, I think, to come out of an evening with the express intention of just having a laugh. Here's a great fact about this country. The average person in Great Britain laughs out loud 10 times a day. Not everyone, obviously. If you work in a hospice or with learning disabled adults, it could be 10 times that. Sky's the limit. Yeah, that's my laugh, which is... someone said my laugh was weird. My laugh isn't weird, it's wrong. Because you're meant to laugh on an out-breath, aren't you? You're meant to laugh on a ha-ha, ha-ha-ha-ha. I laugh on an in-breath, so it's ha-ha-ha-ha. Sounds like a goose being interfered with. Someone asked me the other day, is it fake? Why would you fake that? They say that laughter is the best medicine, so maybe, just maybe, if we all keep laughing at people in wheelchairs... I'm a dreamer, what can I tell you? I was at a show recently, I don't know if anyone's had this experience. I was at a show, watching a band, and standing just under the fire escape, watching a band play, pint on with a mate, relaxing, and a lady from the venue came up to us, in the little waistcoat and the little name badge, came up and went, "Excuse me, you're going to have to move, because if there's a fire, You're blocking the exit. I said, I tell you what, love, if there's a fire, I'll move. Kid retard. What did she think I was going to do in the event of a fire? Just stand there going, nobody move. Why is everything gone orangey and hot? I don't like it. Oh, mobile phones off. I should have said that at the top of the show. Mobile phones off as a courtesy to the other patrons in the auditorium. I say mobile phones. What I mean there is phones. No one's brought a landline, have they? And let's face facts. The landline is dead. When the landline goes in our house, there's panic. Shit the bed. Who the fuck is that? We're both here. A lot of people text whilst driving. I'm not excusing it, but we've all done things we regret when we're drunk. I saw a thing on the news, it said that bad drivers are going to get on-the-spot £100 fines. I thought, it's a bit sexist. Did you understand that? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm not being sexist. How could it be? Some of my best friends are slags. Is this sexist? You can be the judge on this. Sorry for being rude, but do you think chat-up lines are sexist? No, they're not. They're fun, right? I know they're cheesy, but they're meant to be cheesy. That is their charm. What's that one? I like that one. Get your coat. It's cold in the boot of my car. I don't know if this ever happened to any of you. I was checking into a hotel recently. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning after a gig up in Manchester. Walked into the reception area, and the guy recognised me and went, "Oh, Mr. Carr, we put you in a disabled room." I said, right, what's the difference between a normal room and a disabled room? And he said, the disabled room's got a walk-in shower. It's taking the fucking piss, isn't it? I've got a question for you, ladies and gentlemen. Does anyone in this room believe in the supernatural? Ghosts and spirits and the like? Yeah. Quite a lot of you. It's actually easy to tell if your house is haunted. It isn't. Grow up. That's me being cynical, but that's this job. Being a stand-up comedian, I think, makes you a bit of a cynic. Has anyone in here actually seen a ghost? Well, go on, what did you see, madam? Tell us the story. And there was no one there. Go on, what did you see? I'm not... I make you nervous. You've seen the undead. And I make you nervous. Doesn't really show me in a good light, does it? Go on. Where were you when you saw the apparition? You were in a friend's house, right? Her stepfather was what, sorry? I think I may have cracked this case already. There's a stepfather involved. Was there ectoplasm? Go on, what happened? Were you upstairs? Were you... You were in his son's bedroom? Of course you were, love. Go on. He had died. You should have mentioned that sooner. And then you started seeing weird shit. I'm loving this. There's a special name for people that have seen ghosts. Schizophrenic. All the best with your future. Quite an in-depth story. I'll leave it at that. Stepfather did something terrible. And you've recoded that memory. Of course, not all fat people are jolly. Some of them are women. You shouldn't be mean. Fat girls have got feelings. Mainly, they're hungry. It's only a joke, isn't it? It's only a bit of fun. I told it the other night and a girl got up and walked out. Well, waddled out. I presume offended, possibly just peckish. Whenever I'm in the changing rooms at the gym, I'm always embarrassed by the fact my penis is so much bigger than everyone else's. But then, in fairness, it is erect. Islamic fundamentalist sex dolls. Do they blow themselves up? In Palestinian passports under occupation, do they just put Israel? That joke is only there to test where the Guardian readers are sitting. No further questions, back to the knob gags. I do talk about sex a lot in my show. I talk about sex all the time on stage. And a friend called me on it recently. Came to see the gig, and he went, "You talk about sex all the time. Are you obsessed?" I said, "Well, I'm not obsessed. But sex is the great universal topic for comedy. It's still quite taboo to talk about it openly in public. Everyone's interested, everyone cranes forward, and there's a lot of tension around sex. And where you find that kind of tension, that's also a great place to find laughter. So sex is a great topic for comedy. But it's difficult to stand in front of you good people and talk about sex without sounding crude. So to try and mitigate that, to try and alleviate that, this evening, if I refer to a vagina at any point, I'll be calling it a twinkle cave." As in, so there I was, licking out a twinkle cave, while she deep-throated my tummy banana. It's nice to be nice, isn't it? I saw a woman wearing a top, it said super dry on the front. I said, "Have you thought about lubricants or HRT? Maybe a little bit of Aussie charm? Are you familiar with the term Aussie charm? Just means..." Australian charm, you're welcome. Very pleasing look from the ladies of London, as if to say, "Well, I didn't know that had a name, but yes, that does happen." My girlfriend bought a T-shirt for £80. That's a ridiculous amount to spend on a T-shirt, am I right? It said D&G on the front. I suppose fair enough. One of her tits is bigger than the other. I thought my girlfriend was a slag when she told me I was her 30-second lover, and then I realised she was talking about time. There is a minimum comprehension level. You may be asked to leave. I'm sorry. My ideal woman would be a single mum, once I'd finished with her. It's a joke. I'd pay for the abortion. Ah, got you again. I fucking wouldn't. Let's talk about something a little bit more serious. It can't all be slapstick abortion stuff. My first wife was from Thailand. Well, don't, because you'll feel bad. It's actually quite a sad story. My first wife was from Thailand, and she died of testicular cancer. Probably the best way I could describe it is a twinkle cave was an outie. I saw a transvestite in a miniskirt. I thought, that shows a lot of balls. Let's hear it from all the heterosexual men in the room. Give us a shout, all the heterosexual men. I'm guessing from that expression, I can't remember which one heterosexual is. I'm not taking a chance. Maybe this is how they recruit them. The most annoying thing my sister does is that show, Chatty Man. That's the most annoying heckle that I get at gigs. I like it when people join in. I like a bit of a heckle and a bit of fun. But the most annoying one I get is when I've set up a joke, just about to do the punchline, and someone goes, invariably it's the same thing. It's always, "Where's Alan? Where's Alan?" It's not my, like, bête noire. It's just a bit annoying. "Where's Alan? He's at your house fucking your dad." I think we all knew, including him, I think we all knew that was a trap. I could feel you as one going, "Hold, hold, hold." And then one brave soul over there said, "No. I'm taking one for the team." Or rather, your dad is. Of course, not all gay people are happy, camp, and fun. Some of them are lesbians. If you're a lesbian and you didn't find that funny, you're surprising no one. Are there any lesbians in? No, my gaydar is pretty much honed in on this pair down there. Hello, how are you two? You all right? Yeah. I presume you're a couple?
Married, yeah.
You're married? Oh, congratulations. Fabulous. How long have you been married?
Since October.
Since October? My God, it's new and fresh. Have you even finished consummating the relationship?
No.
You don't know when you're finished, do you? That's one of the problems with your lifestyle choice. We'll just put that on hold. We'll be back in a minute. Well, so you're married, you're committed to each other. Well, it's maybe a crazy question to ask you because you're in this long-term relationship and you love each other, but what would it take to get you back on solids? She's a definite no and you're a maybe. Okay, good. Oh, I love my job. I tell you what, I'm going to do a test and see whether we've got any other sisters in the room, see if there's any other lesbian sisters. Like I'm a lesbian, I've got the haircut, come on. I look a bit like K.D. Lang, I could get away with it. I'm going to test the heterosexuality of the other ladies in the room. Just a simple question to test this. Ladies, have you read 50 Shades of Grey? Yeah. You've all read that book? You love that book. I would describe 50 Shades of Grey as the ultimate flick book. It was the best-selling book last year. What's the world coming to? It was the best-selling book last year. I can prove it. Last year, wettest on record. I think it's a very interesting book because, although it's not a great piece of literature, it's more gusset typing. It's interesting because it's pornography for ladies. That's what it is, right? And men, that book is in our houses, isn't it? 50 Shades of Grey is in our house, and we've not even picked it up. We're not looking at your pornography, ladies. We're not interested in your kind of pornography. We're very happy with the service broadband is providing. Ladies consume pornography in a very different way to men, and the genders are very different in our consumption of pornography. Here's a fact, gentlemen, that will blow your minds about women's consumption of pornography. Women watch porn films to the end. You know why? To see if they get married. Well, it's probably as good a time as any to talk about how political correctness works in stand-up comedy, because some people think it's a free-for-all. You can say whatever you want on stage because of freedom of speech. That is not the case. There are rules and regulations that govern what I do. Basically, how political correctness works in stand-up comedy is, if you're directly affected by something or involved in something, you get a free pass. You're allowed to joke about that thing. So, for example, homosexual people can joke about being gay. Disabled people can joke about disability. Black or Asian people can joke about race. Those are the rules. So, these two paedophiles walk into a park. Child abuse, there's a touchy subject. I saw a headline in the paper. It said, "Please smash paedophile ring." I thought, good, let's see how they fucking like it. Have we got any teachers in this evening? Give us a shout, any teachers? Oh, loads of teachers in. You work bloody hard, don't you, teachers? Half the year, 5 hours a day. I'm not knocking it. I could never do what you people do for a living. Not because it's difficult. I wouldn't pass a CRB check. I've actually got a bit of a soft spot for teachers. I used to go out with a teacher and she was lovely. But if ever I wanted sex, she always insisted to put my hand up first. That is ruder than it first appears. You're welcome. Have we got any special needs teachers in? You teach special needs? Oh, there was a woo over there. What's your name, madam? Danielle, very nice to have you in. All I was going to say about special needs teachers is you are the best and the brightest, in my humble opinion, the best and the brightest teachers. Because I can prove it. We all know teachers socially, yes? Everyone knows teachers. And teachers are always moaning on about, oh, I've got homework to mark this evening. Not you, hey, Danielle? You're not grading potato paintings, are you? Fuck it. Your evenings are your own. Fair play. Is that a little yay? See the other teachers looking, oh, fucking annoyed. I didn't think of that. What, sorry? You used to teach at my school, at Burnham Grammar. Did you? Not when I was there, surely. No, unless you moisturise a lot. Where are you from? You're from Belfast, right? Ginger and community. I was just saying what you said to me back. Oh, how come you're teaching over here then? Are you in the witness relocation scheme? What the fuck happened? fucking grass. What do you teach? What subject? What, sorry? English? You can barely fucking pronounce. I did Countdown recently, the TV show, not Dracula's special needs brother. One for the staff room. And I got asked when I did Countdown, I got asked by every man that I know, everyone asked me, how fit is that Rachel Riley off of Countdown? How attractive is she when you meet her? And it wasn't like a rhetorical question, they wanted me to answer. And I thought, well, I should be able to say how attractive a work colleague and a friend is without sounding misogynistic, without being sexist, shouldn't I? You be the judge. Rachel Riley, let me put it this way. I would crawl over broken glass to suck the cock of the last man that fucked her. I don't think that's overstating it. I'd like to fuck her brains out, take ages. Now, I should warn you there will be some audience participation this evening. Apologies. And the only reason I mention it explicitly is because sometimes when I ask someone a direct question, they get a bit flustered. I think it's because they're used to seeing me on TV, so then when I ask them a direct question, they get a bit, what the fuck is going on? I didn't press the red button, it's gone all fucking interactive. I got a guy wonderfully flustered the other day, front and centre where you're sitting there, and out of nowhere I went, are you married or single? He went, single. And the girl next to him went, he isn't. How could you fuck that up? There was a lovely little pause and he went, I think I might be single now. Oh, well, look, who's seen me live before? Give us a shout. Yeah. Well, you'll know every year my friend Chris does illustrations for me for jokes that I write that I think are a bit esoteric, that require a visual element to be fully enjoyed. Would you like to see them? Yeah. Well, good, otherwise he'd be fucking gutted and we'd be having some quiet time, which would be shit. Right, well, I'll show you some. Obviously, we'll kick off with some thoughts and ideas that I've had recently. Right, so, if you like looking at flowers but you can't be arsed with gardening, simply run down a kid outside your house. Can't believe you didn't think of it. On bonfire night, I hope our neighbours keep their pets locked up because there's something about fireworks that makes me really horny. You don't get many homeless gay men, which is a shame because they'd be fucking bums. I was outside a nightclub recently and I discovered that women can be bouncers if you're travelling fast enough when you mount the pavement. The thing I worry about when I hear kids in the third world are working 18 hours a day to make my trainers is, when are they going to get a chance to finish my fucking laptop? I was in a hotel having breakfast, and the waiter said to me, he said, "You want white or brown toast?" I said, "All toast is brown. You're thinking of bread." At any one time, a bowl of nuts on a bar will have 17 different types of urine on them. And that's why they're called peanuts. Wayne Rooney wears the number 10 shirt, or as he calls it, the stick and the circle. All the celebrities get plastic surgery these days. Colleen Rooney's just had some work done on her arsehole. He's had hair transplant. My friend reckons football violence and aggressive behaviour are triggered by primitive tribal rivalries, which are projected onto opposing teams and then expressed through exaggerated displays of loyalty. But he's a lying gooner twat, so he can suck my fucking cock. All that groaning and grunting in women's tennis, it reminds me of sex, in that I'm watching it happen on screen whilst masturbating. To explain spot fixing in cricket, it's what happens when something I don't understand is done by someone I've never heard of in the middle of something I couldn't give a fuck about. Spiders used to give me nightmares. Anyone else? Yeah, so what I've done is I've stopped eating them just before bedtime. Of course, the worst thing about being bitten by a poisonous spider is that you're probably Australian. Are there any Australians in? Welcome back. I don't like zoos. I prefer to see lions, tigers, elephants and bears in their natural environment. The circus. Is anyone here afraid of clowns? You're afraid of clowns, sir? There's actually a special name for people that are afraid of clowns. Mummy's little benders. This may interest you, though. Clowns have to register their facial design to make sure that other sex offenders don't use it. Dwarves often get overlooked. I can say that, they look up to me. Should we treat ourselves to another dwarf joke? Tell you what I know about dwarves. Very little. Come on. Here's a random fact. It's random, but it's true. 1 in 10 British kids is now conceived in an IKEA bed. True. How it works is their parents insert flap A into slot B and then screw until the nuts tighten. In 2009, Nadia Suleiman of California gave birth to octuplets, 2 daughters and 6 sons, earning her the nickname Octomum, although she's also known as Giganto Snatch. Those babies were walking before she was. I think the men in the room will be able to relate to this. My girlfriend always wants to stay in and watch Downton Abbey, but I want to go out and get a new girlfriend. I thought it'd be okay for me to have sex with other women because my girlfriend and I were on a break. But apparently, I ruined that weekend at Centre Parks. I was going to tell you a story about the poshest place I have ever been. I got invited last year to Clarence House, where Charles and Camilla live in central London. I got invited there. I'm involved in this hospice charity because I'm such a fucking terrific guy. Not because I was press-ganged into it. No, no, no. Maybe a little. Anyway, I'm involved in this thing. So Camilla is the patron of this great charity. So she organised, like, drinks and a concert and dinner in her home to, you know, thank the corporate sponsors and to get more people to donate money, raise a bit of money, raise awareness, that sort of thing. In her home, though, she put on this event. So we're all in her front room, literally Charles and Camilla's front room. It's the most ornate, like, high, beautiful sort of ceilings, and they've got a telly and a couch in the corner like normal people might have, but every square inch of mantelpiece and shelf and sideboard has got a beautiful object on it that they've been given by visiting dignitaries or they've picked up on their extensive travels of the world. It's a very intimidating space to be in. So we're all standing there having a drink, and she's coming around saying hello to everyone, and she gets to me, and because I'm a dick, as I feel we've established, she gets to me and goes, "Oh, how are you involved?" And I went, "Never mind about that. Have you seen Cash in the Attic?" Because we're sitting on a gold mine here. And to her credit, it's absolutely true. She went, "Yes," winked and fucked off. Brilliant. I did another weird royal thing last year. I did the Jubilee. Did anyone see the Jubilee? I did a little thing where I had to introduce Grace Jones in a hula hoop. Nice work if you can get it. In order to do that, I had to get past security at Buckingham Palace. Here's what it consisted of. So I met an armed police officer. His only job is to guard our Queen, to make sure that no one steals our Queen and uses her head to photocopy it and make their own money and stamps. I don't know. So I walked up to this armed police officer outside Buckingham Palace. I said, "Security?" He went, "Yeah." Here's his question. He said, "Are you in Al-Qaeda?" I went, "No." "As you were." I thought, this guy seems fun, so I asked him, I said, "Does anything funny ever happen when you're rolling with the Queen?" He said, "Yeah, I'll tell you this story. Has to be in confidence, though." I said, "You can trust me." He is not a good judge of character. I'm also in Al-Qaeda. No, I'm not. Or am I? No. So he told me the story. He said the Queen, her whole entourage, she travels with about 15 people. They went up to Glasgow last year. She was opening a drop-in centre for homeless alcoholics. Of course in Glasgow. Where else would you fucking put it? It's very much ground zero for homeless alcoholics. It's their biggest export. So the Queen's there, and she's cutting through the ribbon like a fucking ninja, and all the usual suspects are there. There's the mayor, there's the local dignitaries, there's the chairman of the charity, the people that work in the local office, and they've got a couple of the homeless guys, the alcoholic homeless guys from Glasgow, that the charity has helped in other locations, suited and booted, washed and brushed there to meet the Queen, so that she could see the people that have benefited from her kind works. Lovely. So the Queen, as we all know, has only got one bit of shtick, which is the question, what do you do? That's her only question. She doesn't point like that, that'd be mental. But that's her only question, what do you do? That's all she asks. She said to a Scottish alcoholic homeless man, what do you do? And he came back, rather epically, I feel, with, same as you, nothing. Apparently, she was fucking terrified. A friend of mine, quite recently, a couple of months ago, got proper, old-school flashed. Guy in a Mac, at dusk, in a park, one of those. Sorry, I've added that. I don't know if he did that. You would, though, wouldn't you? You'd give it a bit of cock slap. You'd probably treat her to the windmill, wouldn't you? Who are you hurting? Anyway, she got proper old-school flashed, and she shouted, rape. I thought, don't give him ideas. Don't workshop it, you fucking lunatic. Has anyone in here been flashed?
Yeah.
Go on, what happened, madam? Is it a funny story or is it distressing?
I was in a club and some guy flashed me.
In a club? In a club and someone flashed you in the club?
Yeah.
Are you sure you didn't go off with a man in a club? I was kissing him, and I undid his zip, and then he flashed me. Go on, what happened? Tell me the story.
It was in the middle of the dance floor.
Middle of the dance floor, and he was throwing some shapes, and one of his was...
No, my friend told him that we were lesbians to get rid of him.
So to get rid of the guy, your friend told him you were lesbians. That's how these two started, but then they liked it, so they stuck with it. And did that work?
Oh, she said, we don't like cock. And then he
She said, we don't like cock. So sorry, so someone got his cock out in the middle of the dance floor in a club, and you went, oh no, sorry, we're lesbians. You could have just told him to fuck off. You're incredibly polite. I'll make up an excuse so he doesn't feel bad. I don't want the flasher to feel rejected. How nice are you? And has anyone else been flashed? You got arrested for flashing? Well, don't take it out on me. What do you mean you got arrested for flashing?
Well, I was going for a piss.
You were going for a piss? This sounds like bullshit to me. You were going for a piss. Where were you going for a piss? Set the scene for us. I've never met anyone that's flashed. Go on. It's going for a piss in a primary school. Got in a car park, okay. In a car park outside, you're going for a piss. Caught short, late at night, fine, okay.
Yeah, and I needed a piss, so I went up against a tree.
You went up against a tree.
Yeah.
Turned out it wasn't a tree, it was a fat girl. Go on, so you walked up to a tree to take a pee in a car park. This doesn't sound terrible. So far, I'm on this guy's side. Go on.
So there was a woman in the trees.
There was a woman in the trees. Sounds like you've broken dogging etiquette by pissing on someone. So you went up to take a piss on a tree, and there was a woman in the tree.
She was walking, there's a pathway,
She was walking, okay.
and it was outside a police station.
And it was outside a police station. What kind of a fucking idiot are you? You went for a piss in the police station car park. Why don't you just turn yourself in? That's a cry for help if ever I heard one. Lock me up before I hurt someone. And what, did she scream? Did she complain? What happened?
She went into the police station, and they came out and arrested me for indecent exposure.
They came out and arrested you for indecent... Is it because you're a bit ginger? Do you think they would have let you off if you hadn't been quite as... I'm sorry about these lights as well. We could well be giving you skin cancer. I think I'm on your side there. If you're taking a piss, that's not indecent exposure, is it? What do you think? Are we on this guy's side? There's one man, no. Stop pissing outside, you crazy fool. But because there was a woman in the other night with a story. She said, oh, I got flashed. And then she told me the story, and I wasn't sure. She said, I got flashed. I said, has anyone been flashed? She went, yeah, I got flashed in Disneyland. I said, I'm all ears. She said I was in Disneyland, Florida. I was walking in past the hotels in Disneyland and into the park, and I looked up at one of the hotels, and a guy was opening his bedroom curtains, flashed me. I said, no, he didn't. You are a peeping Tom. My girlfriend wants a diamond ring, and the only reason I know that is it's pretty much all she fucking talks about. Let's face facts. The only way my girlfriend's getting a diamond ring is if the vajazzler slips. I don't really understand the vajazzle. I mean, I know what a vajazzle is. I know what it is. They whip away all the hair from your foo-foo, and then they diamante it. I say they, I imagine you get some Pritt stick and glitter and have a crack yourself. Have a sparkly crack yourself, you're welcome. I just don't know who that's for. I've never met a man who said to me, oh, I love vaginas. But I wish they're a bit more zhuzhy. A few more sparkles wouldn't go amiss. I want a glamour puss, a showbiz entrance. Has anyone had a vajazzle? She had. What motif did you go for, madam? You had a heart because you were embarrassed to ask for...
Like something spectacular.
You were embarrassed to ask for something spectacular. So you were fine with someone putting glitter on your fanny, but you went, I don't want to ask for anything embarrassing. How adorable. And was it for a special occasion, or was it just...
No, I just thought, why not?
You thought, why not? Well, plenty of fucking reasons. Basic hygiene. Your boyfriend could chip a tooth. And it was definitely a proper vajazzle, not a Liverpool vajazzle, which is just a euphemism for herpes. Has anyone else come across a vajazzle? He has. Not hers, I hope. Go on, what did they have?
Can't remember. It was my stag do in my...
You can't remember? It was your stag do. Oh, you can't remember anything. Sounds like a Liverpool vajazzle to me. No, love, I don't know what happened. It's just really itchy. Fucking hell. Obviously, I could never get a vajazzle because I don't have a vajayjay, but I would consider glitter balls. You know, for a special occasion. Oh, speaking of special occasions, there was a couple in a couple of weeks ago at one of my gigs, 35 years married. I got chatting to them because I thought, well, quite an incredible thing in this day and age. Got chatting to them. I said, what did you get her for the anniversary? And he said, deep fat fryer. I said, well, what did she get you? And he went, chips. And they seemed thrilled with that arrangement. It got me chatting to people about what is the worst gift you've ever got? Birthday, anniversary, Christmas, Valentine's. What is the worst piece of shit you ever got? We've had a heckle. Go on, what was that, sir? A little bit louder.
Tickets to this show.
No, what's fine. Sir, what's your name? What, sorry? Toby. Toby, do you mind me sharing with the group? Thank you very much indeed, Toby. That makes it much easier. Because there's a heckle. It's quite a good heckle, quite a funny heckle. But we have to do a heckle put down now. God. I would love if I could just let it go, but I can't. There are rules. But you don't mind me sharing with the group, so it makes it much easier. We can go old school. What, sorry?
Stop stalling.
Stop stalling. Don't panic, sir. I've got this. I'll have to put you on arsehole waiting. Toby's mum is so fat. She's a fucking disgrace, Toby. Your mum is such a chunky monkey wobble slob. Fatty boom batty blubbernaut. She's so fucking fat, when she fell down the stairs, I thought EastEnders had finished. Boom, 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 ba 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 bum. True story. You, sir. What did you say? What was it? Stop stalling? Yeah? What's your name? Gary. Are you trying to say Gary? Watch me. Gary. Yeah. 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 The fuck is that? Well, Gary, if you want my comeback, you'll have to scrape it off your mum's teeth. Worst gifts. What's the worst gift? What, sorry? You got a bread maker. Your husband bought you a bread maker. What a fucking arsehole. No, I just hate the whole concept. Because bread makers, I mean, I spent like 200 quid on a bread maker. That's convenient, isn't it? Because you don't live near shops and bread isn't fucking cheap. Oh, I'll just make my own. That's fine. Because the ingredients cost more than a loaf of bread, but don't worry about it. So what did you get him? Instead of an engagement ring, you got a bread maker instead of an engagement ring. You broke up with him, right? You've just divorced him. Yay! Why did you go through with marrying him? I mean, that must have been fucking awkward in the office. Oh. Look at this. Oh, it's a nice one, sparkly. You poor thing. Any other bad gifts? You got what, sir? A dog pooper scooper. Do you have a dog? At the time, yes. The fuck have you done with your dog, dude? What happened to your dog? You don't have him anymore. Oh, Toby's mum ate him. The fat bitch. Sorry, dude. Any other bad gifts? What'd you get? Nothing. Jesus, listen to the bitterness there. I think there are worse gifts than nothing. So like women get bought Hoovers by their other half. And it's not just a shit gift, it's a bit of a dig. At least something in the house has got some fucking suction. Or you said you wanted a bag and a belt, that's got both. You're welcome. There was a girl in the other day for her 21st birthday from her nana. Now, nanas are mental anyway, but her nana bought her, gift-wrapped, beautifully gift-wrapped, an Argos catalogue. With £2 coins sellotaped to the front. Oh, pikeys. What, the worst one that I think a lot of people have done, Secret Santa. Do you do Secret Santa at your work? It's a nightmare, isn't it, to get something good for under a fiver, under a tenner. I went out and bought a brawn moustache trimmer. She was livid. No pleasing some people, not like she didn't need it. The best gift is obviously anal sex. Not for a Secret Santa thing, that's a fucking disaster. But no, it is. It's better to give than to receive, and anal sex is the gift that keeps on giving, unless it stops giving, in which case it tears. Oh, too much. The worst one I think a lot of people have bought, gift vouchers. Who here's bought gift vouchers? What were you thinking? You walked into a shop and went, excuse me, could you help me? I've got some money here, this is accepted everywhere. Could you fix it for me so it just works in this one shop? For a limited time period, I should explain it's a gift and I'm a fucking idiot. It's a great feeling when you get a woman you've been chasing for miles. I've known thousands of women in the biblical sense, and by biblical sense I mean made-up women that don't really exist. A lot of people just drift into relationships without really thinking about it, and we call those people men. A lot of men say when they first get together with a woman, they can't initially tell if it's the real thing, but I can, because I've got a special little indicator that sticks up. Come on in, sit down. What's your name, madam? Alexa. And what is it, some sort of cystitis? What's the matter? What do you do for a living, Alexa?
Lots of things.
You do lots of things. Yes, I think I've seen a card advertising your services. Are you new in town? Go on, sir. Don't let me guess.
So, I'm an aspiring presenter.
You're an aspiring presenter.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, I'll say to you what I say to all aspiring presenters that I meet. I'll have an Americano, please. Oh, I fucking love my job. Gentlemen, do you remember what you were doing the first time you told a woman that you loved her? I do, I was lying. Don't give me that look, it worked, I fucked her. We went out for a drink the other night, me and my girlfriend, and we were chatting about what people actually think about when they're having sex. Not a conversation I would recommend. She said to me, what kind of a man fantasizes about his partner's friends whilst he's actually having sex with his partner? And I said, promise you won't get mad. What do you think is the most important thing in a relationship? Give us a shout. Sex. How long have you been together with your woman? 4 years, and sex is still the most important thing. Well, you, sir, are a liar. Up to 2 years, I would give you. Up to 2 years is fine, but sex is the most important thing. You're ripping each other's clothes off. It's fantastic. After 2 years, what's that coming up on the inside? Coming up pretty fast. Sky Plus. And any other thoughts? Most important thing in a relationship? Trust. A lot of ladies saying trust. Any other? Cricket. Cooking. Cooking's the most important thing. Are you the guy from Quantum Leap? Have you just got here from 1970? Cooking's the most important thing in a relationship. Have you ever become engaged by awarding someone a bread maker by any chance? Not the weirdest answer. The weirdest answer I had recently. I said, what's the most important thing in a relationship? And a bloke went, consent. There was a guy up in Edinburgh, I said, most important thing in a relationship, and he went, me. A terrified-looking woman next to him going... Any other thoughts? Lubricant. Well, if you run out... Any other? What, sorry? A puncture repair kit. It's funny, I like that. I think it deserved more. Come on. Any other? What, sorry? Love? Grow up. Who are you in a relationship with? You're My Little Pony? Any other thoughts? Most important thing? Laughter. Laughter? Well, I don't know about that. I do think a sense of humour is what I look for in a woman, because if a woman can see the funny side of life, she's much less likely to press charges. I think trust. For me, I think trust is the most important thing in a relationship, because if you're with a woman and you don't 100% trust her, how do you know she's not going to tell your wife? I do love it when a woman says those magic words that mean she's definitely up for sex that night. This drink tastes funny. I'm joking, you can't taste it. I'm not a prude. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you? I'm not prudish. Here's the thing. I don't like swearing during sex. Who wants to hear that kind of language, especially from a child? Oh, the look you gave me there. You prefer a sweary kid. Fair enough. I had a thing happen to me recently, a little bit embarrassing. I got caught. I didn't think this could happen when you're a grown-up. I got caught masturbating by my girlfriend. What do you say? Sorry I woke you. You've got sleep in your eye. I don't know about you, but I don't like celebrities that are only famous because of who their parents are. Like Callum Best and Peaches Geldof and Jesus. I heard a reporter on Sky News say at least one person killed in suicide bomb attack. Yeah, obviously. That is the bare minimum you need to qualify. It was something about burning a copy of the Quran in Afghanistan. I was watching it thinking, I would never burn a copy of the Quran because I've got a Kindle. Just delete it, don't fuck about. I'm not worried about Islamic suicide bombers, they can only do it once. A Hindu suicide bomber, that is more of a threat. Because of the reincarnation. Oh, I don't know what's going on. I was going to talk to you about terrorist threat levels in this country, because our government have picked the weirdest words for our terrorist threat levels. You know, sometimes they announce them at the end of the news. The weather, the pollen count, and then the terrorist threat level, for no reason at all. And it's words that I don't understand. So, at the moment, the terrorist threat level in this country is substantial. I asked a police officer, what am I meant to do with substantial? He said, watch yourself. I said, well, I'm not involved. Do you know what the highest terrorist threat level is? How's this for a creepy word? Imminent. The fuck am I meant to do with imminent? I imagine clench. I mean, I've never been near a bomb when it's gone off, but I imagine that take the edge off, wouldn't it? And we all know that isn't the highest terrorist threat level. The highest terrorist threat level, as we all know, is I don't care if this does look racist, I'm getting off the bus. That is a massive rucksack, and he doesn't need to be saying these prayers out loud. I'm fucking doing one. Where middle-class guilt is overtaken by fear, you know you're in trouble. Of course, with these jokes, I could face the wrath of Islam, which I've always thought sounds like a shit pub. Where are we going? Wrath of Islam. Oh, for fuck's sake. There's no booze, there's no fruit machine, there's no pork scratchings. Yeah, but women can get stoned. Sometimes doing this job, you feel very exposed. Not when I'm doing jokes, but when I'm doing an observational bit of comedy, you feel like if no one can relate to this, I'm going to feel a fool. So, you know, share with me if you've had a similar experience. It's always embarrassing when you get an erection during a prostate exam. And they realise, hang on, you're not a real doctor. Joke's on her, she hasn't even got a prostate. Have we got any teenage girls in? Give us a shout, any teenage girls? I'm sorry, I realise that is a creepy question. The teenage girls, the reason I ask, I read a thing recently that said that 90% of teenage girls are sexually active. Bullshit. A lot of them just lie there. I'm frightened, you're not my real dad. I often get asked by young guys, young men after the show often ask me, can you laugh a woman into bed? The short answer, yes. Obviously, she's too young for you if you're having to say peekaboo, but yeah. You can laugh a woman into bed. The tough bit comes 20 minutes later when you're trying to laugh her into a taxi home. I don't want to make a big deal of this, but I recently adopted a newborn African child. He was just £7, plus postage and packing. That's how they get you. If only they'd put holes in that box. And that is the joke, interestingly, that Richard Curtis said was a bit much for the comic relief gig. Have you all been on that first foreign holiday abroad? Like the first foreign holiday you went on without your parents? Everyone been on that holiday? Yes. Has anyone not been on that holiday yet? Oh, quite a few of you. You've got a lot to look forward to. It's an amazing trip. It tends to be all the guys go away together, all the girls go away together, somewhere hot in Europe that's cheap that year. We went away, 5 of us that went all the way through school together. We just got our A-level results, went away for 2 weeks in Faliraki. It was awesome. Sun, sea, sex and sand, that's what we're looking for, that's what we found. It was an amazing, life-affirming, wonderful holiday. Well, in those 2 weeks, I had sex with 12 different people. I'm not bragging, I was gang raped. Still, I didn't let it spoil my trip. If there's a fight, I let my fist do the talking. Please don't hurt me. I went to a fairly posh, single-sex school, but I never really fitted in. I think it's partly because I'm male. Partly because I was 35 when they caught me. My granddad always used to insist on standing up whenever a woman entered the room, which is ultimately what led to him losing his disability living allowance. I was up in North London, I saw a guy in the high street with a guide dog and a white stick. And I went up to him, I went, "You must be blind." He said, "Tell me something I don't know." I said, "There's a tree over there." Don't be a dick about it. You never forget your first, especially if they've got an unusual name. Kayla. There's something I don't understand about a woman's G-spot. I can't quite put my finger on it. I can drive a woman... Well done. That's hit home there, has it? Touched a nerve, so to speak. No, very apt. I can drive a woman wild with my tongue. Would you like me to demonstrate? Okay, pay attention. All the action is happening here, young man. Drive a woman wild with your tongue. Have you put on weight? Anal sex is overrated. It's fucking shit. And it hurts like buggery. I tried it with my girlfriend. She was bored to tears. Is everyone that's going to get it got it? Let's move along. We've been together now for 12 years, me and my girlfriend. So to keep things fresh in the bedroom, we do a little bit of role play. She pretends to be a nurse, and I pretend I'm still attracted to her. That's divided the room, isn't it? There's people that thought that was funny, and then there are unattractive women. Some girls like to have the lights off for sex to happen. They like all the lights to be out before they have sex. And they've got a name. They're called fugly munters. I've never had a complaint about that joke. I've never had a woman come up to me after the show and gone, "Excuse me, I'm a fugly munter. How do you think I feel? Hungry?" Are there couples in? Give us a shout. I've got a theory about sex in long-term relationships. So the received wisdom is it's men that instigate sex within a long-term relationship. It's the man that says, "Should we go upstairs for a bit of slap and tickle, bit of how's your father, bit of sticky belly?" Whatever you call it in your houses. But it's the man that asks. I think that is misogynistic bullshit. That's like saying the man's got the sex drive and the woman is just passive. I reckon it's about 50-50 in most relationships. The reason you don't notice when women ask for sex is because when women ask for sex, it happens. We've got the expression "getting lucky" because we're rolling the dice, ladies. If your woman says to you, "Do you want to go upstairs and fuck?" "Yep." It doesn't matter what else is going on. You could be full of flu. You could have just received devastating news. You could have just been shot in the leg by her. "Do you want to go upstairs and fuck?" "Yes, I do." But sometimes, gentlemen, you'll know this, sometimes in a long-term relationship, you'll suggest becoming amorous with your partner. You'll suggest having sex, and she'll say no. And then she will give you some kind of mercurial, strange reason as to why sex could not occur at that moment in time. And you would like to respond, you'd like to argue back, but you can't think of anything because you can't think at all because all the blood is somewhere else. So I thought, well, why don't we take advantage of the situation we find ourselves in? Why don't we workshop it? What reasons have you heard, gentlemen, not to have sex? And we'll come up with a response. What have you heard? Headache. Tired. Okay, let's deal with those in order. Headache. Easy. If a woman says, "Look, I've got a headache," just say, "I'm going to be right at the other end." I could not be further away from that problem. Also, I'm going to fuck you. We're not doing Sudoku. You're not going to need your wits about you. Tired. Tired is like the modern equivalent of headache. And I think genuinely, if a woman says to you, "Look, I can't have sex, I'm tired," what you've got to do, you've got to listen, obviously. You've got to acknowledge. It's not enough just to listen. She's got to know that you've heard. And then make a suggestion. That's my advice anyway. Don't demand anything from a woman. Make a suggestion. So if a woman said, "Look, I can't have sex, I'm tired," I'd say, "Of course you're tired. I hear you. You've got the kids, you've got the house, you've got work, you must be exhausted. So why don't you," and it's just a suggestion, "but why don't you do what you normally do and just fucking lie there?" You lazy fucking cow. Any other excuses for not having... Pregnant? She's too young. This is a long-term relationship you're in, right? She said, "I really can't have sex with you, I'm too young Yeah. What was that one? Pregnant. Are you trying to nudge her towards a three-way? Is that bad? Clearly, yes. I don't want to alarm anyone, but we've got a pirate in the house. Hoist the mainsail. She's dead. She's dead, and yet you're still hearing a voice saying no. That isn't her, that's your conscience, you monster. Go on, any other excuses for not having sex? Your cock's too big. Try fucking a grown-up. Any other? Sorry, sir, could you just repeat what you said there? She's on the blob. How nicely put, sir. I think a lesser man might have said menstruation. Or her time of the month, or maybe period. Even Arsenal are playing at home, or she has the red devil in her belly. Up on bricks. But you went with the much more genteel. On the blob! She's on the blob, isn't she? I think in all seriousness, if a woman says, look, I can't have sex, I've got my period, I would say, well, your arse isn't bleeding, is it? Yet. Give me a moment to work my magic. The best one I heard recently, someone said, a very nice gig in Cambridge. I said, any reasons for not having sex within a long-term relationship that you've heard from a woman? And a woman went, morning fanny. I said, what? She said, morning fanny. I went, yeah, I heard you, I don't know what that is. It's morning fanny. And she said, you know morning breath? It's that downstairs. Morning fanny, who knew? I'm telling these rather bawdy jokes, but I'm actually quite a sensitive kind of guy, quite metrosexual. I remember the first time I got together with my girlfriend 12 years ago now, first time we had sex, first time we hooked up, I cried. I don't know whether it was the physical act or the emotion of it or the pepper spray, but I teared up. People do weird shit sexually. Should we talk about some of the weird shit people do? Gerontophiles, if you're not familiar with the term, gerontophiles are people that find the very elderly sexually attractive. I know, a bit of a mouthful, isn't it, gerontophile? I prefer to call them OA pedos. They like a bit of granny fanny, where's the harm? 50 Shades of Grey, very different thing for them. Years ago, this woman introduced handcuffs into our sexual relationship when she called the police. I said, I'll come quietly. If you strangle yourself during sex, it's called autoerotic asphyxiation. If you do it to someone else, it's called a serious sexual assault. My bad. A fluffy. Do you know what a fluffy is? A fluffy is when you're having sex with a woman and... Sorry, scratch that. Not when you're having sex with a woman. When you're making love to a lady. And as you make love to that beautiful lady, a fluffy is when she farts on your balls. Couple of quick things. Firstly, really? That's happening enough that we needed a special term for that? And secondly, how do you ask for that? Not that I would want that to happen, but when you find out that's your thing, how do you ask for it to happen? Because presumably no one asked for that the first time it happened. That was a happy accident. He was working away and one slipped out and he thought that's not an unpleasant sensation. But then it's very difficult to ask for that to happen again. It's very difficult to come across as Mr. Darcy, the king of romance, when saying to the woman in your life, would you mind later on, when we make love, farting on my balls? It'd be much easier, take her out for Indian food and hope for the best. Has anyone in here ever walked in on people having sex?
Yes.
What did you walk in on, sir?
My parents.
Your parents? What kind of special hug was Mummy doing with Daddy? What did you actually see when you walked in?
Awful thing.
What was your dad up to? I mean, his balls, presumably, but... Did you get an eyeful? Sorry, obviously not like that. That'd be awful. You'd have to think that was premeditated. If you walked in and he was, oh, this is going to be brilliant. You saw your parents, because I presume you followed the classic etiquette of walking in on people having sex, which you walk in, I see, off. And in your case, straight to therapy. Has anyone else walked in on people having sex? Yeah. Go on, what you walking on, sir? I don't know why that's bad. It's so much worse. Because if it was your son, I think we would all go, yeah, go on, son. Go on, my son. But with your daughter, you can't walk in and go on, love. Oh, you look like you're fucking loving that. Hey, it's my little girl. I mean, hopefully it was a guy you approved of. Was it a guy you approved of? He's sitting next to you. I hope you obeyed the etiquette. You walk in, you walk out straight away. There's certain things that people do sexually, though, that could not be a response. Are we all familiar with the rusty trombone? This is sexual practice whereby a lady is kissing a guy's ass. I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean that in a far more literal and rimmy type sense. And as that's going on, she's also administering a hand job. So there's this movement and the pursed lips. Well, you can see how they got to rusty trombone. I've got no problem with the name per se. My question is, if you walked in on people doing that, what would your response be? Are you sure? Got a question for the ladies. All women I know have got a very clear line. On one side of the line, things they're happy, confident, comfortable, and enjoy doing sexually with a loving partner. On the other side of the line, things they've been asked to do that they've said no. What I would like to know, ladies, is what have you been asked to do that you've said no? I don't mean like reverse park or wash up. Where do you draw the line is really what I'm asking. What have you been asked to do that you said no? You look confused. Did you not realise you could turn shit down? No idea. You're just hearing now. You draw the line at anal. What, sorry? Yeah, totally. But on his birthday, yeah? Man up, lady. That's where you draw the line. Okay, any advance on that? Any other weirder things? A threesome. What kind of threesome was it, madam? Was it two guys and you, or a proper one? Go on, what kind of threesome was it? Two women? I think that, on the surface, that sounds misogynistic, doesn't it? He's gone, oh, I need two women to satisfy me because I'm such a man. I don't think that's what it's about. I think he was thinking of you. He was thinking, wouldn't it be lovely if after lovemaking she had someone to talk to? Thinking of you. Loves you. Any others? Any advance on this? Egging. What, sorry? I'm not sure if I'm mishearing or you can't talk. It's tough. Go on, what are you saying? Pegging. Pegging. The fuck is pegging? Isn't that just running? What's pegging?
Where she gets a dildo on and does you up the arse.
Do you mean foreplay? and she wouldn't do that, sir. What a prude. Any... Blumkey. What's a blumkey? think, if I'm not mistaken, she just said, it's when you give a guy a blowjob while he's having a shit. And sorry, madam, a guy asked you to do that. You know what, though? I admire that guy. Because that's what made this country great. That's what made civilization great. Daring to dream. There's an optimistic man. Oh, I'm having a shit. I've had loads of shit. It's pretty boring. What about... this whole area's free. It's all going on back here. At what point in the relationship did he ask for that? The end. Not a bad way to end a relationship. Things aren't going well, you're not getting on. I'll see if she'll suck me off while I'm having a shit. Because if she says yes, I think she loves you. Any other weirdness? The reason I've asked that question a few times now is because it's my favourite bit of the show, because I know that there are women out there who are currently having pressure applied to their legs by the men in their lives. There are men out there going, I just wanted to fucking try it, shut up. The weirdest one I heard about recently from an audience member was a Simba. Have you heard of a Simba? You know what a Simba? A Simba is from The Lion King, I believe. It's when you're with a beautiful lady, you're making sweet love to her, and you finish on her chest. Fine. A little bit disrespectful, some might think, but fine. And you take Simba. Bringing a little Disney magic to the bedroom. I'm not sure my girlfriend would appreciate a Simba, but I think I could just do it on my own. I think the next time I'm at home and I've got broadband and a bit of time to myself, I think I might try and finish there. Simba. I've got a tip for the ladies, or if you like, I could put the whole thing in. There's a short one. Do you want to know the secret to the perfect hand job? Use your mouth. I left my last girlfriend because she got really fat. I'm pregnant, there's always an excuse. Breastfeeding in public, does that annoy anyone else? Annoys me, the baby's head gets in the way, you can't see a fucking thing, can you? Now, no one likes having their parenting technique criticised, but would you agree with me that 7 is too old to be in a pram? Would you agree with that? Yeah. Would you have said anything? Because I said as much. It's a wheelchair, is it? Who's got kids? Give us a shout. Who hasn't got kids? What are you saying, happier? Which is weird, because we're not trying to get anyone to join our gang. People with kids never stop going on about it, especially when you're my age. People with kids, join us. Join us. We're so happy. You don't look happy, you look tired. Join us. Who's going to take care of you when you're old? Medical professionals. I've got to go now. I've got to have 12 hours sleep. Not even tired. Of course, the pill revolutionised the way that women control their bodies. Before its invention, our poor nanas had to take it up the wrong one. Or face falling down the stairs. In a hot bath, drunk on gin with a coat hanger chaser. My best friend's wife is having a baby, and I asked him, I said, what do you want, a boy or a girl? And he thought about it, he said, I wanted a blowjob. Really mournful. I like getting a blowjob off the missus. I don't know if you get this. I don't know if you get a blowjob off my missus, but the thing I like about oral sex from my partner, I think the thing most men enjoy about oral sex from our partners, not anything sexual, ladies, it's the peace and quiet. Ladies, if you've ever been going down on a guy and he's gone, that's not your technique, that's not the sound of his sexual ecstasy. That is the sound of a man not being asked a question. I would think about adoption. I don't have kids, but if I had kids, I think I would have them adopted. People criticise Madonna, but the kid she adopted, fair trade. Have we got any dads in? Give a shout all the dads. Did you cry at the birth of your first child? Oh, very few of you admitting it. A lot of guys are embarrassed by the fact they cried at the birth of their first child. I think it's because they don't quite know why they cried. There's different theories. Some people think it's the biological bond with a child that you meet for the first time. But that can't be it. You're only meeting it for the first time. It's not like the mother that's been carrying inside her. That's more of a biological thing. With the guy, no. Some people think men cry at the birth of their first child because of the gift that's been bestowed on them by the woman in their life. That would make them tear up? No. I think the real reason most men cry at the birth of their first child is because they see what the little shit's done to the missus. Oh, no. Now she's got a vaginus. Good. If my grandmother knew how much I spent on her funeral, she would be spinning in her ditch. When I was a kid, I didn't want to imagine my parents having sex, so I'd watch them from the wardrobe. Can closet gay agoraphobics ever come out? How can you possibly explain the concept of death to a young child? Well, you need a hammer and a hamster. He's not gone to live on a farm, has he? He's all over the fucking job. It always feels so much better when you have a wank with a dead arm, but apparently I ruined that funeral. I remember in the playground, my dad's harder than your dad. It's not really the issue. The issue is both our dads have erections in a playground. Researchers have created a contraceptive pill that deactivates sperm before it reaches the womb. My girlfriend's got something similar called stomach acid. 10% of women have cried in a shop changing room. I guess they weren't expecting to see me there. Here's an interesting fact. The reason Morris dancers wear bells is so blind people know they're cunts too. They say a problem shared is a problem halved. Didn't really work with AIDS, did it? Do you know you can get AIDS from a toilet seat? But only if you sit down before the last guy's got up. My girlfriend asked me recently, she said, what's happened to your sex drive? I said, I burnt it and smashed it with a hammer. I was worried the police were going to get hold of it. Humans and dolphins are the only mammals that have sex for pleasure, but a dog will do it for a biscuit. Very much. If you suffocate in a bag for life, you'd be fucking livid, wouldn't you? The irony would kill you. I recently read Great Expectations, and it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I can do a brilliant Michael Jackson impersonation. Would you like to see it? Yeah. I just need a young volunteer that can keep a secret. You know those human statues you get in the middle of town? You know the ones painted silver and gold, stand stock still? And then if you give them like 50p when you walk past, they move their hand like a fraction. Actually works out cheaper if you're going to go past them every day just to buy a taser. I had a thing happen in the high street the other day. You know the charity muggers? You know the ones with the clipboard and the optimism in the high street? I dodged two of the cunts, and the third one got me. with what I considered to be an unfair tactic, the backwards walk and talk. So I hadn't stopped, I hadn't made eye contact, and she told me her sad story as she trotted along backwards. And the wording was just perfect for me. She said, "Do you know how often people die from AIDS?" I said, "I'm not an expert, but I'm guessing just the once." I saw an extraordinary anti-AIDS thing recently. I was in Johannesburg last year doing some gigs, and I saw in Johannesburg this charity had printed a leaflet with everything you need to know about HIV and AIDS, because there's a lot of myths about AIDS in South Africa. So they printed up this leaflet, and because they raised more money than they needed, they decided to attach a condom to every leaflet. Good idea. So they stapled a condom. Genuinely true, the Everest of fuckwittery. It's weird that, is there any South Africans in? Oh, there's quite a few. Well, it's weird the linguistic differences you notice when you travel. Like in this country, when you say, "I'm not racist," what you tend to mean is, "I'm not a racist." In South Africa, when someone says, "I am not a racist," it means they're about to say something fucking racist. Is this racist? Do Chinese people have guess who? I tried that joke for the first time in a tiny little 50-seater theatre above a pub, and there was a Chinese lady front and centre, and she laughed enough that she sort of bent forward, and it looked like I'd gone, "No." It's creepy. Genuinely weird. I like to think of myself as an equal opportunities offender. I like to think I offend everyone and therefore no one, because it's kind of a blanket bombing approach to offence. It's like I'm not picking on any group, and also I'm not really making any points, am I? I'm just trying to make you laugh for a couple of hours. That's my only job in this world. I'm not trying to make any points or change anyone's mind about anything. And the best defense of a joke is always, "It's just a joke. I was only joking. Relax. I'm just trying to make you giggle." When you try and say something that's true, earnestly, from the heart, that's when it can fuck up much more spectacularly in your face. I've got a story about this. Do you want to hear it? Yeah. It's a story about PC blowing up in a friend's face. So this mate of mine, it's quite a long story, which is unusual for me, but it's a doozy, you'll enjoy it. This mate of mine runs a comedy club, okay, at a university. He's in his mid-60s now, he's been running it since the early 80s, it's a legendary club. Anyway, runs this thing, he's quite a right-on kind of guy. If there's a petition to sign, he's signing it and forwarding the email to me. If there's a march to go on, he's on the march. Very right-on, political, involved kind of guy. Anyway, he runs this comedy club. This incident happened about 12 years ago. He decided to put on a night of American stand-up comedy. There happened to be 3 American stand-ups in London the same weekend, okay? So he decided, well, instead of just booking one of them, I'll book all 3 of them. We'll make it like a themed evening, like the 4th of July. We'll get hot dogs and Budweiser and what have you. It'll be fun. So everyone comes to the evening. There's like 300 people in the club, and he's all excited about it. The first act goes up on stage. He's a black American stand-up out of New York City, and he does what I would refer to as an Uncle Tom routine. If you're not familiar with the terminology, that means he did a racist routine. All his jokes were based on negative, racist stereotypes. He got away with it. He was a very charismatic performer. He was very handsome, but the material was terrible. I mean, it was like, at best, it was white guys drive like this and black guys drive like this. Nonsense, ill-observed nonsense. At worst, it was stuff that would make your skin crawl, okay? He totally got away with it that night. He got a big round of applause at the end of about half an hour set, and he walked back to the green room at the club, and my mate went in after him, and he went up to him, and he said, "I want a word. You'll get paid for tonight's gig, there's no problem with that, but you would not be welcome back at my club telling those kind of jokes. I think it's racist, I think it's wrong. I don't think it's okay for you to tell racist jokes just because you're a black guy. I think if anything, you should know better. I think it denigrates the struggle of the African-American people, and you can never say that no one's told you so, because I'm telling you so right now, it's racist and it's wrong." And the comedian went, "I agree. When you're right, you're right. But I'm the other black comic, I haven't been on yet." That'll be Jimmy Carr. Thank you very much indeed for coming out. Cheers. Appreciate it. A couple of quick things. Sometimes if I buy a girl a drink after the show, she gets the wrong idea. She thinks I'm just a nice guy buying her a drink. No, no, no. Who's going out after this? Who's going out tonight? Loads of you. Well, I've got nothing but admiration. I mean, well done. But I can't wait to get home to bed. I've had a lovely night. I've really enjoyed talking to you, but I want to get to sleep now. I've got to an age where I talk about sleep like I used to talk about sex. You should have seen me last night. I was at it for 8 hours. Eider down sheets, blackout blinds, the fucking lot. This morning, the snooze button did not know what fucking hit it. Well, let's break out some rough stuff. It's that time of the evening. I'll tell you a couple of jokes that Channel 4 told me were not acceptable. Okay, it was the week of the tsunami. Remember the tsunami? All I wanted to say was the tsunami was terrible. Tokyo was covered in raw fish and seaweed, a situation the mayor described as delicious. Could have been worse, I could have said delicious. But I didn't, because that would have been racy racism. I had a similar thing with Hurricane Sandy. You remember Hurricane Sandy that devastated the eastern seaboard of America? All I wanted to say was it was the worst thing to hit New York since those 2 planes. Possibly they got it right on that one. I tend to get into trouble with the papers for a joke once a year. Obviously, last year I went rogue. But I tend to get into trouble for a joke with a journalist once a year. Last year, the joke that got me into trouble with the journalist was this one. You probably remember it from the last show. Why are they called sunshine variety coaches when all the kids on board look the same? Now, the word variety's doing a lot of the heavy lifting in that joke, right? It's not that bad. The journalist in question said, you can't say that about retarded children. Time out. Because Variety, the children's charity, they do great work. They do a lot of stuff with mentally disadvantaged children. But they also do a lot of stuff with physically disadvantaged children and socially disadvantaged children. You can't lump all those kids together and go, bunch of retarded kids. You can't call anyone retarded kids. You're a journalist. You should know better. And also, being offended on behalf of someone else, in my mind, is literally fuck all. That's just you taking the high moral ground. For you to be offended, I think, minimum, you have to be the one that's offended. So if you're genuinely offended by that last joke, you're retarded. While we're talking about charitable stuff, as you leave this evening, there's going to be a bucket collection. There's people with buckets and tins, and I'll just briefly tell you what it's about. We're collecting money this evening for abused children. And if we raise between us just £500, we can buy their silence. That's clearly a joke, right? The reason I say that's clearly a joke is because I did a gig in Croydon a couple of months ago and a woman genuinely came up to me after the show and went, where are those collection tins? Just unpick that for a second. So not only did she not realise that was a joke, she wanted to help. Is anyone totally unoffended by anything I've said? You're totally unoffended by anything? Well, what's your name, sir? Hamdi. Hamdi. It's an unusual name. You don't hear that every day. Well, I imagine you do. It's your fucking name. Hamdi, what do you do, Hamdi? You're a student. What are you studying?
Economics.
Economics, whereabouts?
Royal Holloway.
Royal Holloway? Well, maybe if you'd worked a little bit harder for your A-levels. Just say Royal Holloway is not... I mean, come on. There are universities that have always been universities. There are universities that used to be polytechnics that then became universities. And then there's Royal Holloway, which I think used to be a 24-hour garage. And they got a delivery of books and they fucking went with it. God love you. Right, let me try and offend you. All right, when I was at school, a mate of mine got caught wanking in the showers. Nothing? Well, it ruined the school trip to Auschwitz. It's not going to get any more offensive than that, dude. It's a joke about the worst thing that has ever happened. Oh, I can't tell you a more offensive joke than that, but I can tell you a story about me that will change your mind about me and then change it right back. Do you want to hear it? Okay, well, it concerns... It's basically telling you about what it's like being famous. What it's like is people ask you to do things, and it's nice to say yes, because normally it's fun stuff. Do you want to be on Top Gear? Yes, I do. Do you want to do a Jubilee? Yes, I do. Do you want to come and visit a hospice? It's palliative care for teenagers. Yes, I do. I got that call about 6 years ago. I said, yeah, I'll go. I didn't know what some of those words meant. I thought it sounds all right, teenagers. I imagine that'll be fun. Now, it transpires, palliative translates to dying, and I found myself in a situation where I went, well, I've got to go. I've said I'll go. And thinking, this is going to be shit. Hand on heart, I thought, this is going to be fucking shit. But I said I'll go, so I'll go. So I went there with very low expectations. I thought, I'll be lucky to get through this without tearing up. I went there, it was genuinely, I couldn't believe what a fucking arsehole I am. Because it was genuinely inspirational. It was brilliant to go. If you get a chance to visit a hospice, go to a hospice. They're amazing. Because I don't know what inspires you, but I like that idea of carpe diem, living in the moment, now being where happiness is. And if you meet life-limited teenagers, they're having that because they're aware of how precious time is. And I think we often forget in our day-to-day lives. So it was amazing to go and to be around. I've been back many times since, and I'd recommend it as a thing to do. It's really fun. They don't want to be shut away. They want to be part of society. The thing that blew me away when I went there was an incident. So if I go out to get coffee before the show, if I go to Starbucks, obviously my coffee shop of choice. Similar views. But if I go out to get coffee before the show, right, if there's a group of 15-year-old girls in the coffee shop, they'll be really flirty with me, not because I'm some super attractive dude, but because I'm a celebrity and there's a cachet to celebrity in our society, for better, for worse. There just is, it's a fact. So I'm used to that kind of flirting in that context. I wasn't expecting it within the context of palliative care for teenagers in a hospice. There's a girl in there, she just turned 15, pretty little thing, and she's a massive comedy fan. And she had all the DVDs, seen everything on YouTube, like really into it. And she was really flirty, and really tactile. And I thought, what? All she wanted was a kiss. And I thought, well, where's the harm? She's going to be dead before she can testify. I can see you think that's bad, but I can make that worse with just 2 words. True story. It is a true story, it just happens to be about a different Jimmy. Thank you so much for coming out, Hammersmith. So fun. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers. Good night. Thank you. Cheers.
Hello, my name's Jimmy Carr and I've got a brand new tour called Laughs Funny. Now, here's the interesting thing. There's 2 shows every night. One at 7, one at 9:30. Not to put too fine a point on it, I had a bit of a run-in with the tax man. So it's one for me, one for them. Come to the second show, there'll be more heckling.